EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Thursday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. Here, one day closer to the Eagles' Week 2 matchup, a Super Bowl rematch versus Kansas City Chiefs. Takes place this Sunday at 4:25. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Thursday morning?
Doing well. Trying to get through the grind of another week of the NFL. And it's just started, Xander. It's just started. But
yeah, no doubt. John, yesterday was a big day. You mentioned Wednesday's the biggest practice of the week. You obviously got to talk to Nick before practice and then got to see a little bit of practice yesterday. We will get into that. I did want to start the show this morning by just saying rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. That was obviously a crazy thing that happened yesterday, John. I'm still kind of sitting with my thoughts on it. I don't exactly know how to articulate all of them at this moment, but just if you had any thoughts, you can share them. If not, we will continue to move on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think people got to get over the fact that other people have different opinions than they do. And I don't know how you move forward as a society when you can't accept that. It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to be debating and do things like that. But you have a whole group of people who just can wrap their heads around the thought that other people might want to live in a different way. And for me, I'll be upfront, and I know you're the exact opposite. I'm not the most religious person in the world. I freely admit that. I got no problem with people who are. There's a lot of positives to that. I have no issues with it. Now that's a much more benign subject. But the idea, I think a lot of people can't wrap their heads around the idea that others think differently. And because of that, they think they're fake or they think they're doing it out of malice or those types of situations. Right. And it's a mental illness, to be perfectly honest.
Absolutely.
And if there's one thing, stop using the damn word Nazi and fascist. You have no idea what it means. The fact that you can say that in this country proves that you don't have Nazis and fascists in power, because they would shut that shit down immediately. You don't even know what the word means. You're fueling hate. It's absurd. And it works both ways. Obviously, this is just so high profile. It's working one. It works both ways. But I mean, people have to understand. I always boil it down to, I wish Josh Shapiro was on today. I always boil it down to the Wawa test. Nobody's asking anybody their political affiliation to Wawa. Does the person in front of you hold the door? Are they polite to you? That's my test. That's a good person. I don't give a shit what their political views are. I'm not going to give them a litmus test. You got people in this country that don't talk to family, because they have different political views. Get out, do something else, live a healthier life. That's all I have to say.
It's good.
Don't affect other people. Certainly don't have violence on other people. I apologize.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, and I pray for his wife and his two young kids that were left behind. Somebody that simply talks to people that don't agree with him each and every day. It's pretty crazy that happened yesterday. Unfortunate, but we will roll on here on Birds 365. Appreciate everybody for being here this morning. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks all of you guys, as always, for helping the show grow. Johnny Mac, yesterday, Wednesday practice, you had a chance to see some of it. What are the key takeaways? I know you guys got to talk to Zadarius. You got a chance to talk to Tank Bigsby, a couple of those new guys coming in. John, what'd you see yesterday down there at Eagles practice on Wednesday?
Yeah, well, I think injuries are the main one. Dallas Goedert cropped up, so we'll keep an eye on that. Knee injury, was not able to practice. Told it's not terribly serious, but it could affect him for a game. So got to keep an eye on that for Kansas City. Will Shipley, it's looking pretty clear that he's not going to be able to go, at least in the short term. But again, he's out there, not a long-term injury. Landon Dickerson, from a positive perspective, was back out there. So, but he was limited. So, that might be a situation, an ongoing situation where I think he didn't play 11 snaps against the Cowboys. And, you might have to have somebody coming in at certain points of the game, which you don't necessarily want, but could be worse. And Tanner McKee probably not going to be ready yet. So, the indication there, the bet there is that he'll be ready before week 4. If it's anything after week 4, the Eagles probably misread the situation because he would have put him on IR and he would have missed 4 games. So when you don't put somebody on IR, that's an indication that you think he's going to be back in that window. So, but it looks like it'll be Sam Howell as the backup again. So those are the early thoughts from the injury perspective. Zadarius Smith, I think you're going to see Zadarius Smith and Tank Bigsby right away, partially because of what their roles are supposed to be. Zadarius is a pass rusher, a little bit easier. He's not going to drop. I don't think Vic would drop him that much anyway. So the more well-rounded aspect of that thing is not as much in play. And then with Tank, I think it's going to be mainly kickoff returns. I don't know if he could help that quickly on offense, but mainly kickoff returns where it's just, inside, outside zone and go. So I think you're going to see them both, and we'll see how it shakes out. But I tell you, from a physical perspective, Zadarius Smith looks different than every other edge rusher.
Yes, he does, John. There's no doubt about that.
So from a physical perspective, and again, this is a proven player. This is for a very long time. So it's not like you're just, conflating it out of thin air. So I think he's going to be very, very helpful for this team.
Yeah, me too, John Mac. He had some good thoughts yesterday. Seems like a good dude. Seems like a cool dude. So that was pretty good. John, anything on the practice field that stuck out yesterday? I know you just mentioned some of the stuff you saw or you talked to the guys about. Anything stick out in the practice field? I know you don't get to see too much, but I think we're all looking for updates, maybe on Landon Dickerson and things of that nature. Any updates from that stuff, Joe?
Yeah, I mentioned Landon there. He's back. So, it's more, he was limited, but he's practicing. So that's a good sign. That'll be ready for Kansas City. And that shouldn't surprise anybody. We talk about Landon all the time. He's a guy who's going to, if you let him play, he's going to play. So I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to try to play, try to be out there. The question is, similar to last week, will he be able to finish the game? And that's, wait and see more than anything else. But, practice this time of year, we don't get to see team drills. We just get to see individual work and stretching. So, from a standpoint of people looking for, so did this in practice, that's training camp talk, where we don't get to see that in the regular season prep mode, where everything's locked down at a CI level subterfuge, because God forbid you get to see a team drill.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Johnny Mac. Good stuff. We're going to talk about some of the preview here for the Eagles and the Chiefs, and coming into this matchup. It's a 4:25 game this Sunday. Maybe the matchup of the week, John, for week 2 in the NFL. A lot of excitement, but, watching that week 1 game last week, John, with the Chiefs, not the Eagles, that Friday night game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, your thoughts on them from the offseason were ringing true, or at least early returns looked pretty accurate, that team has taken a step back. Now they lose a couple more players. Xavier Worthy is out, will not play this weekend. At least I'm pretty sure that's the update. I don't think he's playing this weekend. What are your thoughts on that Chiefs team, man? Coming into week 2, they obviously played versus their division rival Chargers in week 1, lost that game. Justin Herbert was excellent in that football game.
Oh, be careful. Be careful.
This is a Chiefs team, John, that is not, that doesn't look like, at least right now, they're going to be as good as they have been in years past. Now, they've been able to pull it out, so I'm not going to count them out just yet. But just kind of your early thoughts on this Chiefs team as we get ready for week 2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about persevering for this team until they get some of the playmakers back. Rasheed Rice, Xavier Worthy, as you mentioned, and maybe they can start to, you know, perform better. I don't think they're a bad team. I want to make that clear, but I don't think they're a significant Super Bowl contender as they're currently um, built. And Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. And for the people that boil everything down to quarterback, you say, well, how can they not be a contender without Patrick Mahomes? Because my view, again, people are allowed to have differing views, believe it or not, is that quarterbacks don't win games by themselves. And I don't think his supporting cast is equipped to elevate to a Super Bowl level. Now, maybe the whole goal of football is to get better and play better as the season goes on. And maybe that changes, as I said, when some of those playmakers get back. Maybe that changed. Josh Simmons is a rookie left tackle, looked kind of overmatched in week one. Maybe he gets better in the second half of the season. Obviously, he's got talent. So I think that's the goal for Kansas City. But, there's a lot of obviously they want to play better than they played in the Super Bowl. Obviously, they don't want to start the season 0-2. They don't want to lose at home. So there's a lot of urgency for them, I would think. Because the last thing you want to do is get behind the 8 ball so much you can't make it up in the second half of the season if you start playing better. So I would say it's a very important game for them in the first game at Arrowhead this year, so that factors into it. Although it's supposed to be very hot out there, strangely enough, this week, so that might impact the game as well. But if you think about Tampa and the issue, Tampa's used to playing in that. Kansas City isn't, so I don't think it'll be an advantage necessarily. It's just which team handles it better.
Yeah, looking at that weather, John, it says 90 degrees
Crazy.
in Kansas City this weekend for that game. That is going to be interestingly, might be like a weather game out there. I don't think it'll be the same type of heat as Florida heat, obviously, but we'll see. I don't know.
Probably going to see some cramping up and all that kind of stuff, and
pretty high humidity out there as well. I mean, right now the humidity is 90%, so I don't know, to look forward to Sunday. I don't know what it would be then, but definitely going to be a hot game at Arrowhead, which is interesting. You don't get to say that many times, John.
No, you don't even think about that as a potential option typically. And that's what I mean. And we've talked about it with Tampa in the past. I think the mindset when you say that term weather game is that it's snow or rain or wind, and heat is just as big as the weather. And I pointed out that before with Tampa Bay, it's a huge advantage. Miami, when they have a competent team, which is not the case right now. Teams that are used to playing in that kind of weather, they have a big advantage when there's a hot day. But you've seen the Eagles wilt in the Tampa Heat, so it's a real thing. It's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll be interesting stuff there, John. Let's run through some of the things that I have on my mind coming into this game. I want to look at some of the things to watch in this game. The first one's pretty obvious, John. Chiefs could be without their two top receivers. I think they're going to be without. Rasheed Rice is obviously not playing, and Xavier Worthy. I haven't seen an update on him, but I'm pretty sure he's not playing in this game. That's my expectation.
I think you can safely rule him out. I'm not sure if Kansas City's done it yet, but I don't expect him to play this week. So
so top receivers out, John, and Travis Kelce, as good of a player as he is, a Hall of Fame tight end. Arguably one of the best tight ends of all time in this league, or at least in the conversation with the best of all time. He's on the decline. So the Kansas City Chiefs are a little bit void of weapons right now on that offense to try and, really put the score up on the Eagles defense. I don't know what you think of that coming into this game, but how big of an impact will that be, the loss of those weapons, and how Patrick Mahomes can kind of manage without them?
Oh, it's a huge I mean, you saw it last week. I mean, when they did lose Worthy, and remember, Worthy's not like CD Lamb or George Pickens even. to begin with. But what he is he's fast, and he suffered a dislocated shoulder. So evidently, Andy, he's not going on injured reserve. They're not having surgery right now, so they're trying to rehab it. But dislocated shoulder, he's not coming back in a week. So, it's a threat you have to account for. And if you start talking about, the Juju Smith-Schusters of the world, not a lot of speed there from an NFL receiver standpoint. So, you do have Hollywood Brown, you do have Tyquan Thornton, who's very fast, but struggled in New England. Not a very proven receiver. So when you look at it by NFL levels and what you saw last week with Dallas, yeah, that's a poor receiving group without Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. So, from the standpoint of the Eagles and the concern about, the secondary, put that context into terms, it's going to be easier this week. So they might look better. So don't get overhyped if they look better either, because most teams are going to have a better receiving group. And that's what you're putting on Patrick Mahomes now. Travis Kelce's still a good player, but he's not what he once was. Noah Gray's a good, I expect they'll play a lot of 12 because they have two good tight ends. But, it's a tough way to live in the NFL. And it's more about long drives and dink and dunk. And we all know what happens, 13, 14 play drives. The whole mentality of keeping everything in front of you in this league is about, well, if you go that long, you're going to have a false start. You're going to have a negative play. And all of a sudden, you're going to be behind the sticks and up against it and off the field. So that's the whole mentality from a defensive standpoint to play that style of defense. And when you don't have big play guys who can make plays down the field, it's a slog is what it is. And that's what Kansas City looks like.
Yeah,
and has looked like really in the wake of losing Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, no doubt. John, 16 is the number I'm going to give you. Any idea what that number represents for that Chiefs offense from week 1? The number 16?
No idea, but I can text Jeff Kerr.
He might know. So Hollywood Brown, John, got 16 targets in week 1. That's a lot of targets, John, for Hollywood Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown, who is a superior player to Hollywood Brown.
Slightly.
To say the least. Slightly. Got 1 target. Hollywood Brown got 16. He finished the game with 10 catches for 99 yards. So I think a lot of that maybe is because of losing Xavier early in that game, where he's
all they had.
Your game plan wasn't prepared, but I assume Hollywood Brown's going to have to be a big impact again this week, and maybe Juju Smith-Schuster will share in some of those targets, but they are certainly missing a lot of talent, John. Hollywood Brown and Mahomes didn't really look like they were on the same page, despite having the 16 targets. So that's an offense, John, that just is. They don't strike much fear, man. They really don't.
That's exactly it. And when you don't, and even Pacheco, very good running back, but he's not an explosive guy. He's not the guy who's going to break one for 60.
Yeah, no.
He's just a good hard runner. And when you don't have those explosive plays, and the Eagles' mentality is, and it's proven out by the number, all the advanced numbers, all the nonsense you'll hear about. You win the turnover battle, you win the explosive play battle, you're going to win the numbers near 90% of the time. Well, it's really hard for the Chiefs to win the explosive play battle on any given week right now because they're just not equipped with big-time playmakers. Now, you're going to see some off-schedule stuff from Patrick Mahomes. He's still Patrick Mahomes. You saw it last week. I mean, you talk about Hollywood Brown, 10 for 99. All right, that's not impressive for an NFL receiver, an NFL speed receiver, 9.9 yards per carry, per reception. It's not great. Well, his longest reception was an explosive play. It was 49 yards. So what does that mean? Well, he had 9 receptions for 50 yards. What kind of slog is that?
Right.
So that's what you're talking about with the Kansas City offense. And Juju, good hands, good player, but it's just not explosive. Kelsey at this stage, he got loose on a broken coverage for the one touchdown, but that's a defensive mistake, let's be honest. Yeah, it's hard for them with the difficult ability to generate explosive plays.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Another receiver they're going to have in this game is Tyquan Thornton, who is a speedster.
Now he can run. Yeah,
he can run. He's got that 4.28 speed, but he's not a super productive receiver at the NFL level. So we'll see if he can combine or do anything this week for the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, Chargers kind of made their way. John, you already broached this with my first thing I wanted to bring up with the lack of receivers in Kansas City, but they don't exactly have the best running game either, John. They got Kareem Hunt and they got Isaiah Pacheco, two good players, but not the type of players that you want to have when you're missing your big target receivers. So that Chiefs offense is really they don't have much, man. Those running backs aren't great. The receivers aren't great. They're even worse now without Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. I think this is going to be an Eagles defensive game. A good chance for them to get back on track here.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you could argue they got back on track a little bit after the lightning delay against the Cowboys, but I don't know. A lot of drop passes as well. So not as impressed with the Eagles defense as maybe some people were, because I thought it was, circumstance more than anything. But this is a week where they should look better, and if they don't look better, then it's time to really start looking at some things, I would say, because they should look better in this game. And defensively, I should mention, that's the one guy I didn't mention with the injuries. Jalen Hunt popped up with a hip injury. He did practice, but he was limited, so I should mention that. But I think now that Za'Darius is here, I think his role will start to recede a little bit. It'll be, I'm not saying immediate, but pretty quickly. So, and I think he'll be better suited for that role as the third edge rusher rather than just throwing him into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, no doubt about it. John, closing up, just the thoughts on that Chiefs offense. That offensive line. Now that last year they didn't have the best offensive line in terms of the Super Bowl. It was not awful. There was a couple good players out there, but it has changed now coming into this year. In week 1, they had Creed Humphrey at center, who's obviously a very good player, and Trey Smith is their right guard. Those are their two best players on the offensive line, two really good players. Right tackle, they got Jawan Taylor, who's, as you call him, a walking flag waiting to happen. They got the rookie Josh Simmons, who's coming off a torn patellar tendon. He had an okay start in week 1, nothing crazy. I think he allowed 4 pressures I saw on PFF. And then left guard is Kingsley Suamataia. I don't know if I said his name right. So definitely some opportunity for the Eagles pass rush and Za'Darius Smith to get out there and, maybe make his impact on the Eagles in his first game, Joe.
Yeah. And Jalen Carter being back, obviously. I'd line him up over Kingsley.
Yeah.
Basically from the
Sorry, Kingsley. It's going to be a long day for you with Jalen Carter for on the other side of you. It's interesting because last year they had a great interior line and poor tackles. And part of the problem with the Super Bowl is Joe Thuney, who's now in Chicago, but longtime great player, multiple Pro Bowls, multiple All Pros, really good guard. But they had to play left tackle. The reason, one of the guys that they wanted to be a left tackle was Kingsley, and obviously he couldn't do that. So they had to move poor Joe Thuney out there, and Josh Sweat just ate him for lunch. But he's not a left tackle. Was very good interior, and so is Creed Humphrey, might be the best center in football. Trey Smith is one of the better guards in football. So they're not quite as strong losing Thuney
and the idea was that Simmons could step in. He did not play well. I watched that game. He did not play well. But he's a rookie, and maybe starts to get it. Taylor, I just don't get. Of all people, Andy Reid, that he continues to put up with that.
I know.
I just don't get. So yeah, they're a work in progress. You hope Simmons can get better, should get better, but they don't look very good right now, and even less so without Thuney. So again, they've taken a step back more than anything else. Speaking of PFF, they had Kansas City. I'm looking. So they grade all the teams in 1, 2, 3, 4, 13 different categories. Kansas City was number 30 in week 1. 30 of 32 teams. The only 2 teams worse were the New York Giants and the Miami Dolphins. They're not what they were. But Patrick Mahomes will mask some of that, no doubt. But they got a lot of issues that they have to fix. And it's part of the cyclical nature of football that I talk about all the time, talent-wise. When you're that good for that long, you're picking 31, you're picking 32, you're not getting difference-making players if they don't develop. All of a sudden, and I've said it from the opposite, you look at a team like Detroit, who's terrible year after year after year after year, and they all of a sudden you wake up one day and they got all these players because they've been picking at the top of the draft and doing some other smart things, and you go, wow, all right, and here they are. And that's what happened kind of last year. Well, the opposite is kind of happening with the Chiefs. And that's just part of it. It's harder to develop players when you're picking at 31, 32 every year.
No doubt. Johnny Mac, moving over to the Eagles offensive side coming into this football game. One of the main storylines coming out of Super Bowl 59 last year was the way Steve Spagnuolo tried to stop the Eagles offense. All right, I'm going to take away Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, made them pay for it, Johnny Mac. How do you think that changes this time around for Steve Spagnuolo? And what do you think the Eagles offense does to try and, beat that defense this time as compared to the way they did it in the Super Bowl? You think it'll be the same? You think Spags is going to double down and do the same thing? Is he going to take a page out of the Eberflus book and maybe do that, but keep a spy? What do you think? How do you think that plan changed? If you're Steve Spags, you got to be at the drawing board, man, wondering, all right, I can't do that again. We gave up a 40 burger, but what do I do differently this time without letting Saquon take me to the woodshed?
Yeah, I one of the most amusing things of the offseason is that because Kansas City was successful stopping Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl, that everybody would do that. Looked at my head, I go, yeah, I don't think they were too successful in the Super Bowl overall. So I don't know why anybody would be looking to replicate that. And that's part of the problem when dealing with the Eagles is that if you take away one thing and you're hyper-focused on it, they can just toggle to the other thing. But because they have talent all over the place, that's part of the problem. It's difficult to deal with. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't expect them to do the same thing. And then the part of it, and Nick has brought this up and Jalen talked about it yesterday, and I talked about it, and I know nobody listens. These are not the same 2 teams. There's 30+% turnover,
Right.
Bunch of different players. I just talked about one of them, Josh Sweat, and another one from Kansas City, Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney's in Chicago. Josh Sweat's in Arizona. Up, down the roster. That's the NFL. So completely different teams, different situations. So no, I don't think the Super Bowl will have that much relevance on this game as far as game plans go. And I think from Philadelphia, look, they'll try to take advantage of the limitations on Kansas City skill position people, and from Spagnuolo's standpoint, I expect him to be more layered as far as not being hyper focused on one particular player. Because he got, as you said, he got gouged by John, and I've heard him verbalize that. He knows he got gouged, so yeah, I know. I certainly don't expect him to.
Don't you remember that interview he did like a couple weeks later, and he was like, "I still can't watch the tape of that game."
Yeah, he knows that was an embarrassing performance from their perspective. So he's not going to replicate it. Yeah, he's going to try to do something else. I think if you learn from, because Eberflus did everything pretty well, except he didn't have those guys ready to be disciplined on the pass rush. Maybe that's just week one, whatever. But you got to be really disciplined when you're playing a quarterback like Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Lamar. You got to be so disciplined on the pass rush. And you can even look at guys who aren't successful, like Caleb Williams. You saw it on Monday night. He's gouging them left and right with his legs. You got to be really, really disciplined with the pass rush and make sure you pin them, you keep them in the pocket. Don't let them get outside the pocket. And that's easier said than done, obviously. But I think, yeah, I don't expect a similar plan from Kansas City.
No, me neither. And we'll see what they end up doing. John, who do you think will be will kind of the Eagles offense will run through this week? Will it be another Jalen Hurts game? Do you think A.J. Brown gets more involved? I know it's tough to predict that, but I am just wondering what kind of their approach is going to be coming in, especially, coming off. I do think the Eagles, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, they do like to correct the narrative sometimes, maybe sometimes too much. And I'm sure
I'd agree. Yeah.
And sometimes, they've already been asked. You heard A.J. Brown getting asked. By the way, he did an interview with, who was that with? Jordan Schultz. That was pretty good. And A.J. kind of addressed the rumors. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't a decoy.
By the way, A.J. told me that yesterday because he was watching our show with Josh Shapiro. So
was he?
Shout out from A.J. Brown. Yeah.
Right,
but he said, but he thanked me for saying, yeah, he's not a decoy. They're not putting him out there week one as a decoy. The Eagles aren't that stupid. So, yeah, they do have a history If you look at the DeMonte game that Nick always brings up, he got the first target the next game and had like 6 receptions for well over 100 yards. I think he had 2 touchdowns. When AJ doesn't get the ball, he gets the ball early. When think about that Carolina game last year, which was when all the angst was with the passing comment and all that kind of stuff. And they won it. Then the next game was the Pittsburgh game where Jalen after the game said, "Is that what you wanted to see?" or what, paraphrasing. Right. So they do have a history of correcting that narrative. So I do expect both AJ and DeMonte to be hyper focused. They'll be hyper focused on getting them involved. I do believe that. And they're right from the sense of like, who cares if you win the game? But the reality is, yeah, they don't like to hear what's wrong with the passing game. Why do you have players like AJ Brown and DeMonte Smith and they're getting, in AJ's case, 1 target in 60 minutes of football, as you just pointed out. How many did Hollywood Brown have?
Yeah, 16.
Well, the Eagles are playing more successful, efficient football.
Yeah. See, the thing I struggle with this, John, is like, all right, I'm with you guys. I just want to win the game. I think that's most important, and I'm happy that the Eagles take that perspective. But how do you gauge? Like, we have AJ fucking Brown. Like, how do we, like, if I told you JJ McCarthy's not going to throw to Justin Jefferson, you'd say, yeah, that's probably pretty dumb. If I told you Joe Burrow was going to throw to Jamar Chase, you'd say, that's probably pretty dumb.
By the way, JJ,
how do you gauge? All right, I want to win the football game, but I also have AJ freaking Brown.
by the way, JJ McCarthy was the NFC Player of the Week.
Oh, that is baloney.
What I mean, if nothing else proves what a garbage award that is, that can't be highlighted more. Look, the guy deserves credit. He came back. He had a terrible start. But overall, if you look at his film, if you look at how he played the entire game, it wasn't good. They just happened to play a bad team and persevere. And he's getting NFC Offensive Player of the Week. It's comical. But anyway, yeah, with AJ's case, yeah, it's obviously a delicate balance. For that reason, I asked both Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni this week about manufactured touches, because sometimes you got to just get your best players to football. I don't think the Eagles have done that well over the years. Now, part of it is they don't really have a jet sweep guy, a reverse guy. That's not AJ's game. That's not Devontae's game. If it would be more Jahan Dotson or maybe, I don't even know that enough of if John Mechie could do it. But so, it's limited from that standpoint. The bubble screens, which I hate, by the way, I'm all for no more bubble screens. That's my platform in politics. I'm going to ban the bubble screen. I think it's the ugliest play in football. But it's an easy way to get somebody to football as well. And Nick explained that's more of a numbers game, which I knew, but, he explains it. It's essentially an extension of the running game. If you have the numbers, you throw it outside to try to take advantage of one less defender. But, all of their answers made sense. You don't want to force the football. You don't want to tell the quarterback what to do. That's bad. I agree with that 1,000,000%. I think that's part of the problem with college football so much. And then now it's bleeding into the NFL, where these coaches don't allow the quarterback to have enough autonomy at the line of scrimmage. I think that is very bad for football teams. And if you don't have a quarterback, or you're not striving to get a quarterback who can handle things at the line of scrimmage, you're screwed. If I'm an owner, if somebody wants to give me $10 billion, then feel free. But if I'm an owner, I don't even listen to a coach. I don't interview a coach who doesn't want a quarterback who can handle things at the line of scrimmage. I don't want that guy. That's ego driven. So there's a fine line, but to your point, you got to get your best players to football. You got it. You can't have a player at that level not getting the football. Bottom line, I don't care how you do it. Fix it. And we're talking Tua. I think a lot of people forget, because AJ didn't get the target till 58 minutes. Devontae didn't get the ball either. He had 3 catches for 15 yards or whatever, 16 yards. He didn't get it either. You got to get those guys involved. It's fair to say that.
I agree. We'll see what they end up doing in this game. Johnny Mac, good stuff. Great opening segment. Eagles versus Chiefs. Week 2 matchup, 425 this weekend for the Birds at Arrowhead. It's going to be 90 degrees. At least it says that right now. It's going to be 90 degrees.
90.
So
it's going to be cooler in Philadelphia than Arrowhead Stadium this week.
Yeah, that's interesting. Good stuff, John. We'll get to our first commercial break. When we come back, we do have Les Bowen in hour number 2, so we'll talk to Les. I'm looking forward to hearing from Les, seeing what he thought of week 1 and kind of what his thoughts are as we enter week 2. A lot obviously happened in week 1 in the NFL. It's always a fast-paced league, and we love that about it. So we'll do that coming up. We will get to some super chats here. Let's get to the super chats now. Charles, what's up, Charles? What's the minimum points needed for a Birds win? I have no idea how to quantify that number.
The minimum points, I would say 2. You can get a safety and win a game. But I know what he's trying to ask. It's I don't think it's going to be a high number. I don't think Kansas City's equipped to win a shootout at its current incarnation, with the lack of playmakers that we talked about. So, I do think if it's a blowout, it's going to be a definite Eagles win. I think Kansas City has to play a very clean game. and win, on a field goal, on a Harrison Butker field goal late. I think that's the formula to try to keep it close and steal it at the end, maybe with magician like Patrick Mahomes play off schedule. I would say is their path to victory.
I agree. That's pretty crazy to say about a team that's won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. So, but you're right.
Well, again, it's you asked me yesterday or the day before about playing somebody early or late. Oh, Washington. It's like it's not early or late. It's who's available at that time. And right now, like I'd rather play Kansas City this week than week 9, week 10 when Rice is back and Worthy's back. Right now is the time you want to play the Kansas City Chiefs, even though there's still some difficulty going to Arrowhead opening day for them, those fans. There's some difficulty from that perspective, but they don't have their guys. So this is when you want them. Exactly when you want them.
Good stuff there. Prince, what's up, Prince? He says, Sills owes me an apology, LOL. Xander, he's not the only one who knows how to watch tape. I'm being petty, LOL. But I do know what I'm talking about. Yes, you do, Prince. Prince, you're not taking silly personally, are you, Prince? Come on, Prince. You know better than that,
everybody
Prince.
Everybody wants apologies, too. Nobody's got to apologize for Prince, you don't have to apologize for your football take. I don't have to apologize for my football take. But, we're going to give – I can't speak for Dan, but we're going to give our honest opinions for the most part. I am. You never have to apologize for that.
I agree. Johnny Mac, great stuff, brother. Appreciate everybody for being here this morning. Hit that like button. We're trying to do the 200 likes while live. So hopefully we get more than that with the amount of people that watch after the show is ended. But while live, we got to get to 200 likes. We got almost 1,000 people watching total and around 500 on YouTube. So hit that like button, everybody. Appreciate all of you guys being here. When we come back, we'll continue to break down the Eagles and the Chiefs matchup, and then we'll talk to Les Bowen in hour number 2. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back on Birds 365.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the Birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the Professional Podcast Network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Thursday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen. Give us follows on X at Zander Krause and at JF McMullen. John, we move closer to week number 2 matchup here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, a lot of anticipation that come into the year. We will see how the offense evolves, how the defense evolves. What are your biggest concerns coming into this game, John, after watching just one game? We talked about a lot in the offseason, and I think now that we have one game, it's not enough. One game is a liar's month, but, where do your concerns lie? Because edge was your bigger thing coming into the year. Now cornerback 2 is kind of taking on this life of its own where everybody wants a new cornerback, John, bad. What do you think the most pressing needs for the Eagles are at this time?
I think they addressed the edge, so I don't know how quickly it'll ramp up, but I think it'll ramp up pretty quickly, and I think they'll be fine there now. Corner is one where, I think there's too much panic if you think from a larger picture viewpoint, but you got to get better after that first week. But again, you're not going to face CD Lamb and George Pickens every week, and this will be a good example of that. So, I mean, you can say what you want about Dallas, but they have good receivers, and even goes down to Turpin and Tolbert as well. As 3 and 4, Tolbert would be 3, but Turpin would be 4. So they're a tough team when it comes to receiving, and the Eagles got some luck with CD dropping. One thing Nick Sirianni said that turned out to be 100% true about early season football: you're going to have more drops and more missed tackles, and he was 100% right. And the Eagles were the beneficiary of that with CD Lamb, but he was open. And so there's some concern there, but I think, again, the context, nobody looks at the context, or too few look at the context. So this week it'll probably look a lot better and you'll be calmed down. Not necessarily that much better, other than you're dealing with an easier group of receivers to deal with. To me, it's about efficiency on both sides of the ball. They were efficient offensively. They weren't as efficient defensively early until the lightning delay. Then they played better. And, as long as you keep improving and get a little bit better. But, Vic said Dory's going to start this week, so be prepared. And he's not Darius Slay, so you got to persevere a little bit better.
No, he's not Darius Slay, but he did say after the game he thought he had a C performance. I don't know if he did or not what you thought of that. I will say one thing I wanted to point out to people. It wasn't just Dory, in week 1. And I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I mean, look, it's the NFL. You're going to get beat, but a lot of people were posting up like the Quinyon Mitchell stats after the game. I think he only gave up like 30 yards or something. And I'm like, he did get beat pretty bad on that one CD Lamb drop. That was pretty deep down the field. So you're going to get beat in the game. You got to factor in the context for everybody correctly and understand that.
Yeah, that's why there's 3 types of lies, famous quotes: lies, damn lies, and statistics. Because you can manipulate numbers the way you want to manipulate numbers. And it was not, to your point, it was not one of Quinyon's best games, which was somewhat disappointing from the standpoint of how good he was during training camp, because he looked like a world beater. over the summer. It looked like he was ready to take another step forward. But, you know, if you're just going by the grades, he was below average, to your point, because what PFF does is they're counting those plays. And his job, did he do his job on that particular play? If you get lucky, that doesn't mean you did your job. So he was underwater, so to speak, as well. Not nearly in the red like Adoree was in the red. But he didn't play well. Chikorian didn't play well in his short stint. And Adoree didn't play well. So, you know, and part of that is Dallas has some really good receivers.
Right. That was kind of my point. I wasn't trying to pick on Quinion. Like Brandon said, Adoree gave up nearly 100 yards, Xander. Well, if CeeDee Lamb makes a drop that hit or makes a catch that the ball hit him right in the hands, Quinion probably gave up close to 100 yards too, Brandon. It's coulda, shoulda, woulda. He dropped the ball and it didn't go against Quinion Mitchell. But
but the reason you're right, Xander, is because again, when you're grading players and grading film, you're not dismissing it. Like, that's why I say all the time when it comes to play calls, people don't judge play calls, they judge play results. Same thing. They're not judging the play of the player on that particular, they're judging the result. Well, he dropped the ball, so we're good. Well, not from a coaching standpoint, because you want to be in a position to make the play. And if that's week 8, we talk about week 1, drop passes, missed tackles. Week 8, he's probably catching that ball. And then you're having a whole different viewpoint because the result is not what you wanted. So that's why Xander's correct in saying you don't just dismiss a negative play because of a drop football.
It's going to be interesting to see how it develops. Vic has his hands full this year, John. I mean, I think he really does. What is your take or your thought on just the amount of moves Howie's made in the last move? I think it's good. I know we've talked about it, but I think it's good that he does make the moves. But I think it's also kind of clear that maybe they put a little too much on Vic Fangio coming into this year, where they have these type of expectations, and maybe it's been more fan driven, but the golden era of the Eagles, and then you have the number 1 defense in football. Like, let me just say this to you, John. This is where me personally gets tied up. All offseason, the Eagles are shedding talent on the defensive side of the ball. Much of it was talked about as financial reasons. CJ Gardner-Johnson, they didn't pay Slay, they didn't pay Milton, they didn't pay Sweat. All right, that's fine. Some of those guys made a lot of money. You don't want to pay those guys that money. That's fine. A lot of it was talked about as financial. And then they replaced those guys with very cheap players. And then it comes out a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, that the Eagles were ready to send multiple draft picks and pay Micah Parsons buku bucks. And, like, I don't have a problem with that. Believe me, I wanted Micah. I would have been happy if the Eagles did it. But doesn't that kind of, like, go against what the narrative has been as to why the Eagles blew up the number 1 defensive football last year? And I'm not saying the solution to that or the right answer to that would have been to bring everybody back, because I don't think that's the right way to do it either. But we let a lot of guys go because of money, is what we were told. And then they're ready to pay Micah $47 million. Kind of puts a hole in the narrative that they can't do it because of money, and they just weren't prioritizing those players more, seems like to me.
Well, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They're you know, it's not contradictory at all. In fact, I talk about there's a demarcation line. They're going to pay certain players. They're not going to pay certain players. Milton, Josh were below that line. That most teams don't have this problem because they don't have players who are that good, that many players who are that good. Mike is way above that line, And when you have the chance to get a legitimate chance, and by the way, I don't believe they did have a legitimate chance, but he's a guy they're willing to pay. And again, because for whatever reason he played on the Dallas Cowboys, and we've had this discussion on this show, they think he's a generational pass rusher. And that's the guy similar to Saquon Barkley at running back and Zach Bond at linebacker, typically positions they don't pay, and they paid. Now, much less, but Saquon's at the top of the running back market. Zach's near the top of the linebacker. They're willing to go top of the market deals for players that they think are at the top of their professions at those particular positions. And other things factor into it as well. You say Micah Parsons versus Myles Garrett. Technically, Myles is better, but he's a little bit older. That factors into it. Mike is only, 26? Literally the prime of his career. So a lot of things factor into it, but to boil it down to the most minute form, it's if you're top of the line at your position, they're willing to pay you and they'll figure the other stuff out. The other guys is where they're going to clip and save so they can be in position to get those top of the market guys. That's their
So with that being said, though, I mean, and I understand that breakdown. That makes a lot of sense to me. But with that being said, does that mean that they didn't really do enough in your eyes this year to go and compete?
No, I mean, one of the things.
I mean, for example, just real quick, let me elaborate. The demarcation line makes sense, but if you're going to just let your team be bad because you weren't able to get a player above the demarcation line, then I think you've allowed the demarcation line.
I don't think anybody thought the Eagles were going to be bad. I mean, they're not going to be bad. Even if they didn't break, even if they don't get Micah, they don't bring in Zadarius Smith, they don't make the trades that they made for incremental improvements. They still weren't going to be bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, you did have one of the best defense in football, and you kind of blew that thing up.
They were still, but they still have, big time players. They still have the guys above that line, the Jalen Carters, the Zach Bonds, what they believe Quinyon Mitchell, etc. So they still have the big time talents, and you're looking to fill in around the big time talents. And part of it, obviously, they pay the offense. That factors into it as well because the offense is further along, more veteran players that have already gotten paid. So that's just circumstance, that part of it. And the defensive talent is younger and still on their rookie deals, which will start to change this offseason. And that's just the nature of the timing of it. But from the standpoint of the movement in August, first of all, you're talking about incremental players. Is Sam Howell better than Kyle McCord or Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Yeah. Is Jacorian Bennett better than what they had? Yeah. Is Tank Bigsby, the latest one, is he an upgrade? Yes. Is Zadarius Smith? Certainly. He's the most impactful signing. But one thing Howie said, and I give Howie credit for a lot, but one thing I'll get, he's not, like you said, how does it weigh? He's not contradictory in everything he says. He sticks to his plan. If you go all the way back to the draft, when he was talking about day 3 of the draft, what did he say? He said, I want guys with upside. I can find backups. I can find fill-ins. You can go out and get Zadarius Smith because Zadarius Smith doesn't want to go to training camp. But the whole time you're trying to get something younger, something better, something more long-term. And then you can say, you're at your end of your rope. Well, let's go bring the guy off his couch who's still more impressive physically than everybody else. And all of a sudden he's here because why? Because the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. And, Obo told him it's a great organization, so you have that advantage. That could be the case with Mike Hilton. Who knows? Doesn't seem like there's anything going in that direction. But you can always find backups and fill-ins. And the second part, which it tells you how little the offseason means. I hate to break it to people, and I shouldn't break it to people because we're Birds 365, but OTAs and that as Bick would say, and Bick is far more even blunt than me. It's not football,
Right.
So, you can do these things late in the process, and then you have confidence in the organization to say, well, the conventional wisdom is you can't get players up to speed. Yeah, well, when you got a guy whose job is to rush his passer, he's going to be on the field. Watch, he's going to be on the field, and he's going to be on the field less than a week. When you got a guy to return kickoffs, he's going to be on the field returning kickoffs. Don't act like it's more complicated than it is. And I think you're going to see that this week with Bigsby and Za'Darius.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Bigsby, John. I really am. I think
I'm more excited to see Za'Darius.
Well,
man.
me too. I think
Za'Darius has a chance to be
a big
impactful.
Yeah, I agree.
Tank is nice story. I think they're going to be better on kicker, but they have Saquon Barkley. I mean, it's a disaster.
Yeah, he's not the lead story there. That's for
sure. Za'Darius needs to help, and I think he will help.
What's he, 33 years old?
Yeah, just turned 33 this week.
Yeah. Well, Brandon Graham played pretty damn good till what, 35 here? I mean, I don't think he's kicking the can yet, Za'Darius. He's 9 sacks last year, John. Now, I know you're not a sack guy, but I think he was a productive player, even looking deeper than just the sack. So it's going to be interesting to see how much he can contribute to the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think that will be enough at the edge? Because that's been your number one thing, John, pretty consistently all throughout the offseason, all leading up through training camp, all the way basically until last Friday when they acquired Za'Darius Smith. Is it enough, John?
Well, I think you have to, like Vic said, you got to wait and see where he is. But I think if the same guy shows up that he has been in, Baltimore, all the stops, Cleveland, Detroit last year, Minnesota, all these stops, we sort of got a Jadeveon Clowney tint about him, which is interesting because he visited with the Cowboys. But I'd rather have Za'Darius, and we'll see if I'm right. I mean, he's been a long-time productive player. And to your point, no, I'm not a big sack guy, but I always say there's an art to finishing, and he's a finisher, and he's been a finisher for a long time. So if he continues to play like he's played in the past, he's going to be a big impact on this defense. Big impact.
Yeah.
But you have to see, it happens quickly in this league. And everybody brings up Robert Quinn. We talked about Robert Quinn. There was an injury there as well that factored into it. But the bottom line is that guy's getting 19 and a half sacks and 2 years later he's out, he's done. So it does happen quick. So you can't just assume he's going to be the same player. But if he's the same player, man, he's the best edge rusher on this team. If he's the same player.
Yeah. Prince says, I need the defense to be better than last week. Well, Prince, I can guarantee they're going to be because Jalen Carter's back. Forget Za'Darius for a second. Jalen Carter's back. I mean, they're going to be a better defense with Jalen Carter on the field. But I hear you, Prince. Let's get to some super chats here, John. We got Les Bowen coming up in a little bit here on the show. Here's Brian Pumper. All right, we got a couple super chats this morning. Brian Pumper says, can argue this is the time you want the Eagles. Bad secondary play, can't stop the run, scripted plays, can't run, and major issues with the passing. Man,
scripted play. By the way, Kevin, did you hear Kevin? I didn't script any plays. One of the most overrated things in football is that the idea that everybody scripts plays, and all 15. It started with Bill Walsh because Bill did it. Bill's one of the greatest coaches of all time. And everybody copied, and most teams do it, but as I've explained, and Kevin said they didn't do it at all, because they have a more veteran offense that's played together. So you don't really need to do, like I'm sure JJ McCarthy, we were talking about Jada. I'm sure he had like 25 scripted plays.
Yeah.
And they didn't work, by the way, early in the game.
No, they didn't.
So, you know, I talked about this with Doug Peterson years ago, and he let me in on the fact that you're off script by the first third down. So, in theory, if you have 15 plays scripted, if everything goes perfectly and you don't hit a third down, you might get through that 15 plays. If you're first down, second down, and you get the third down, you're off script. You're on your third down menu. So it's one of the most overrated things in the NFL. But in the case of the Eagles, and they had tremendous success in that first drive, and it wasn't scripted. Because they have a veteran team, and sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but they're very confident that the guys that they can just do it by feel from play one if they want. So that's one of those things where it's one of the most overrated things in the NFL, the idea of scripted plays.
Yeah, I agree. Dank Bird Gang says, you see BG has a podcast now with Bo Wolf. I didn't know it was with Bo Wolf, but I did see that BG has a new podcast. That's pretty cool.
I see BG's on NFL Network, I think. I didn't know he had a new podcast, but everybody's got a podcast.
Yeah.
Stick with our podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
Rashid Mixon says, good morning, guys. J-Mac, I understand playing a lesser group of receivers, but don't you think having Carter and Zadarius creates more pass rush?
Oh, God, yeah. That's the plan. That's it. You just hit it. And it's those two guys. Like, that's how high I am on Zadarius Smith for this defense. Like, he's better than Nolan Smith.
I think it will help make Nolan Smith better too, John.
Oh, well, he's the headliner. He's the guy. And then Nolan's number 2, and everybody falls into place from there. All of a sudden, I think the Eagles are going to have, that's all it takes is one guy. And I think the Eagles are going to have a very effective pass rush.
Rashid, good stuff, brother. Thank you for being a member for 13 months. Brian Pumper here, one more super chat. He says, hey, fellas, Zadarius got some serious size. 6'4", 275. I think that might be too big for Vic's system. J-Mac, what you think? That sounds like a question.
Well, he asked the same question yesterday, but he made the stupid Keon White comparison.
Yeah, that's what
who's got five, I don't know, maybe I can look it up. 5-6 career sacks, and he's comparing him to Zadarius Smith. But what Pumper doesn't understand, and look, I get it's your stick, Pumper. What I said, if you listen, which clearly you do not, Keon White's an old school base left end. That's what he is. He's not a pass rusher. Zadarius Smith is a pass rusher. And I've said this to Zander many times because Zander has put up the point of, do they want to, you've asked, do they want to put less emphasis on the position to save money? Not if they can find a pass rusher.
Right.
Yes, Vic wants well-rounded guys who can play in the flat, who can drop, who can play like Andrew Van Ginkel, but there aren't a lot of guys like that. He's also had Khalil Mack. If he's got a guy who can go get the passer, he loves him and will utilize him correctly. What he doesn't want is a base left end in the 3-4 from 1985. So I hope that is definitive enough for you. But yeah, if you're looking at a piece of paper and say Zadarius is 6'4", 275, and Keon White is 6'5", 280, so they're the same player, I don't think your dunk is a dunk, Pumper. I think you proved you're a dunce.
Pumper, I hate to say it, but Johnny Mack just took you to the woodshed, my friend. He took you to the woodshed. and he hit you with "you're a dunce" at the end of it. Good stuff, Johnny Mac. Great breakdown there of why Keon White and Zadarius Smith are not the same player at all. I do think Zadarius Smith's going to be a big addition for the team, so it's going to be exciting to see what he's able to do. I think we'll have an idea pretty quick, John, about how much gas he has in the tank. Maybe not right away. It's going to take him a little bit to get acclimated. But I think we're going to be able to know pretty quickly what he can do on this Eagles team.
Yeah, I think you're going to see it this weekend. I think it's going to be that quick. I think he's going to be out there in impactful, high leverage situations.
Well, who do we say their left tackle is? Simmons?
Josh Simmons, yeah.
Josh Simmons.
And it'll obviously is hasn't had a summer, although it was by plan from his standpoint. So you do have to work on the conditioning part of it. I don't expect him to play 50 snaps, but I do think he's going to be, if there's obvious passing situations, 3rd and 10, I think he's going to be on the field.
Yeah.
More often than not. And it'll ramp up from there. But yeah, I think you're going to see it right away.
Good stuff. John, real quick, we got 6 minutes until we get to Les Bowen, but I do want to talk to you about this real quick. That Thursday night game tonight, John's a good one, man. You got Commanders, Packers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Very rare that I'm looking forward to a Thursday night game, but I'm actually looking forward to this one because I want to see. It's a good litmus test for each team to see where they really are, because they both should be legitimate playoff contenders. I'm higher on Green Bay than Washington. But September is the Liars month in the NFL. So we're going to see Green Bay look very impressive in week 1. Washington persevered against a really bad team, but they didn't look that impressive. Game's in Lambeau again, right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, game's in Lambeau.
So you would think it would be, to me, it'd be very disappointing if Green Bay didn't win that game from their standpoint. Washington, if they keep it competitive, what you don't want from Washington is they get blown out, and then you start really having some questions about Washington. Can they compete with the really high level teams? Right. So, yeah, it's a very interesting game early in the season. And you said game of the week. Game of the week. I think this is the game of the week. Now, I get it. Everybody else is going to say Super Bowl rematch, which I get.
You're probably right.
But I think Kansas City is not that good. So right now, at least, I think this is the game of the week from the matchup standpoint of good team versus good team, at least perceived to be.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one tonight. Looking forward to watching that Thursday night matchup. John, something I feel remiss that we did not hit on today on Birds 365. Shame on me for that one. I apologize. Dallas Goedert popped up yesterday on the injury report, and now it's questionable where he might not play in this football game. What do you know about Dallas Goedert right now, John, with the report that came out yesterday?
Yeah, I mentioned him at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, so sprained knee, not long term. Did not practice yesterday, so today will be key. If he's not out there today, I would not expect him to play. But it's not expected to be a short term. It's not expected to be a long term injury. So today, I think he'll tell the tale. If he's not out there again today, he's got no shot of playing. If he's out there, I think they'll probably take it up to Saturday in the walkthrough and decide from there. But yeah, big impact on week 1. They didn't have a lot of passing numbers as we've talked about, but he was the guy. I think he had 7 receptions and only 7 targets. So I think every time he targeted him, it was successful. Not for a lot of yards, but as we always talk about Dallas, because he's got a history, they're not as good when he's out there. So you have Grant Calcaterra getting elevated, Kylan Granson getting elevated. So yeah, you're clearly not as good. Plus, Kylan Granson and Cam Latu are now cross training a fullback to try to replace Ben Van Sumeren. So it's more work on their plates, and they're not as good. So it's not a positive.
Leave it to JD3 to check in. Goddard and BVS hurt. I wonder who can save the day.
Well, Harrison Bryant got elevated in Houston. So he's on the 53, JD.
He's on the 53. Good
job. You're not going anywhere. Harrison Bryant's on the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Eagles are going to have to trade for him if they want him back, my friend. Prince Swayze says, in my Jim Ross voice, J-Back with a chair to Pumper's head. My God, I don't think he's getting up. I love it.
He'll get up and ask the same question again. I don't know. There's the evidence when you just look at people's size and compare them as players. It's like, think about how silly that is.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah. One guy's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's had, 4 10-sack, double-digit sack seasons. Proven commodity. Been doing it for a long time. The other guy's got 5-6 sacks in his entire career.
Yeah. John, you think Landon's going to play this weekend?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he? He's Landon.
I know.
Yeah. The question isn't, is he going to play? Is he going to finish? That, I think, is up in the air.
If that's up in the air, I feel like they should keep him out. But I don't know. I mean, I get what you told me earlier. You're like, dude, you got to get to January. You can't plan for January by keeping players out. You got to get there. And I understand that. But shit, man, Landon Dickerson, I'm worried about those injuries piling up on him. And it's early in the season. We got a lot of football left to play. So it's going to be interesting to keep our eye on that. Good stuff, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. I don't know what we're up to in the like count. If you guys can let me know in the chat. I do want to get up to 200 likes during the live show, so appreciate everybody for being here. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Les Bowen set to join us here on Birds 365. Be back in 3 minutes.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone. And a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the Professional Podcast Network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Thursday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen, inching closer to the Week 2 matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles at Arrowhead. Going to be a hot game, everybody, in Kansas City. Not something you can say very often, but weather forecast looks like it's going to be in the 90s. So we will see how much weather plays a factor in that game. We got a lot of down south guys, though, John, on our team. Jalen.
It didn't help in Tampa.
No, it didn't help in Tampa, but I don't know, man. Something tells me that Florida heat's different. Maybe they'll be more equipped to handle it in Kansas City early in September. I am not sure. We're waiting to talk to Les Bowen. He should join us here shortly on Birds 365, so that'll be good. But big Week 2 matchup coming up, Johnny Mac. And Week 2 in the NFL starts tonight with, as you call it, the game of the week.
Yeah, I think so from a matchup standpoint. So that should be good. And I do think it was a good week 1 from an entertainment standpoint for the NFL. A lot of close games, which kind of fuels things. I don't like the matchups as a whole this week as much. Starting to identify who the bad teams are. I think there's a lot of good team matchups with bad teams. So I do think Eagles Chiefs is probably number 2 on the docket behind tonight's game. And it's a shame it's Thursday night. I'd rather see a full week with Washington and Green Bay preparing to get a better feel for where they really are. Bucks Texans, that's pretty good in theory. Everything else, not in love with. A lot of bad teams against good teams. Browns against Ravens. Giants against Cowboys. I'm not going to call the Cowboys good, but they're significantly better. Bears against Lions. Lions should be able to bounce back. Patriots against Dolphins. That's disaster against disaster. That's not good. Hey, the Saints might have a chance to win a game for Kellen Moore. Brock Purdy's not going to play.
Oh, yeah.
So Kellen Moore, he better take advantage of this because he's not going to get a lot of wins with Spencer Rattler. So they need to take advantage of that. Bills, Jets. Jets are better than I think most people think, but they can't compete with the Bills even at home. Seahawks, Steelers. That's okay. That's a decent matchup. Rams.
Who wins the NFC East battle? Giants, Cowboys. Who you got?
Oh, Cowboys. Yeah, come on.
Russell Wilson did not look good in week 1.
No, most of it's the offensive line.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
But he can't move back there, so it's impossible.
No, yeah, that's why they got to go. There's 2 ways to look at it. Do you want to put Jackson Dart behind that offensive line? No, I don't, but that's the offensive line they have. So what are you going to do? Sit them until you fix it? They haven't been able to fix it in 5 years. You're never going to look at him? At least he can move and do some different things. So I think they got to make that move quickly. Panthers versus Cardinals, that should be an easy one. Jonathan Gannon should be 2-0.
I think he could be a sleeper for Coach of the Year this year.
Yeah, they got it. They're better, I think, than people realize. Broncos Colts is a pretty good matchup.
I'm not a huge Kyler guy, John. I struggle with him.
Well, he's unique, so a lot of people struggle with him. I mean, he's so short; you shouldn't be able to perform like he does. But he's tough to deal with. I'll tell you that. Broncos Colts interesting. Daniel Jones is. He spent that little time with O'Connell in Minnesota. Maybe it helped him, man. Maybe it helped him. Looked pretty good last week. Shane knows what he's doing. Broncos are a pretty good team, but not as exciting as I would say the week 1 matchups were.
No, definitely not. I think there is the Bears Lions are going to be interesting just because I think the Lions did come back to earth a little bit with those 2 coordinator losses, but how much
They're gonna boat race the Bears.
you think so?
Yeah.
What do you think of Ben Johnson as a head coach?
Well, that's interesting from Lions versus Bears perspective because they're going against Ben Johnson, but that part's interesting. I think he's a lot better than Matt Eberflus. I think he's going to be good for Caleb Williams. I think there was a lot of positives, but when Flores started amping up the crazy stuff, they did not handle it well. But Caleb Williams is a lot better than under Ben Johnson than he was under the previous regime. So that's positive. But ultimately, I think it's going to be very difficult. They didn't even consider. This is one of the problems I have with the Chicago Bears, who I constantly rip on because, but the minute they turn it around, I'll give them credit. But they didn't even consider Jaden Daniels in that draft. They didn't consider him.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Those 2 players are not close. Maybe it changes. I don't think it's changing.
Well, I remember when he got drafted, you liked Caleb too, though. You said he's got that.
Caleb, but I like Jaden better. I was team Jaden Daniels.
No, I know you were. Yeah, I know you were.
Because he was much more advanced playing the position, and that's how it's borne out. But yeah, I mean, Caleb, well, you saw it on Monday night. Kevin, look, physically, there's nothing he can't do. All the stuff about playing he doesn't know how to play the position at this point. And that's what Ben Johnson's trying to, and it's already better. So,
kind of fell apart in the second half, but
yeah, well, again, very difficult defensive coordinator to deal with for a young quarterback.
Yeah,
and he was great early, and I was starting to think to myself, well, what, I was really starting to think they might be on to something. But then he, for whatever reason, he came out very vanilla, and then just amped it up in the second half and all the crazy stuff. Some of the old 22 with Brian Flores is just crazy because he just aligns people like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's why I like him so much, because I like people that don't like, everybody gets in line. Vic is great because Vic is the guy that everybody copies.
Right.
But everybody copies Vic Fangio. Everybody does with Vic Fangio. They don't do it as successfully. Nobody copies Brian Flores because they can't. Because he does stuff. So and nobody wants to be that guy to run out this particular formation or this particular alignment, and they get gouged, and all of a sudden they're taking heat. So he's tough to deal with for young quarterbacks.
Yeah, no doubt he is. Good week 2 coming up. Not the best slate of games, but there is some good ones. And we started off tonight with a good one. Commanders are at the Packers at Lambeau Field. That should be a good one. Packers, in my estimation, probably made the biggest jump of any team in the offseason in terms of getting better. So we'll see if that translates to the football field. John, back to the Eagles-Chiefs game a little bit here. Who do you think is the coaching advantage in this game, John? And I mean the whole trio, all right, the whole bunch. I know Andy's kind of acts as more than just a head coach over there. I think who's their offensive coordinator? Is it Matt Nagy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I don't know how much he does with Andy, but
just quite a bit. Andy hands off play calling and that all the time. People just don't know it.
Yeah, they don't realize it, right? Well, who do you think has the advantage in the coaching matchup and the chess match of coaching in this game?
I think you would have to say it's even, but I would give the edge to the Eagles. Maybe I'm biased. I probably am biased.
It's all because of Vic, though, for you, right?
No, not all because of Vic. I mean, I think the Eagles are very strong, position coach level, obviously Stoutland, but also, guys like Christian Parker, Bobby King on defense, guys like Aaron Moorhead, Jamal Singleton on offense. Plus, I'm a big Kevin Patullo guy. I think he's going to be the best offensive coordinator of the group since Nick has gotten here.
Well, what does he have to do for that to be realized?
Well, I mean, they have to be more effective throwing the football, and I think they will be eventually. And they were already.
I'm not talking about the general public. I'm talking about you. You said you think he's going to be the best of the group, and you've also.
Well, I think you already saw it. I think they
context to, hey, this is the way they play. You know what I mean? Like you've always added and brought people back to earth on what the expectation.
Yeah,
should be. What are they for you?
I don't think they're going to be a high volume passing team because as they're currently set up, but I think they're going to be more efficient. And that's the word they used. And that was the theme. And they were like when they had these games last year from a statistic standpoint, again, number on a piece of paper. When they had these games last year from a statistic standpoint, it looked ugly. The eye test matched the number on the paper. I came out of that game last week saying, and people can watch the post game show. I said that was pretty good from Jalen. That was pretty. I thought Jalen played very well. They were very efficient. So I think already you see the genesis of what I'm talking about. And then if you look at PFF, they thought the same thing. I forget what number he was this week, but he was like third or fourth in the entire league, Jalen Hurts, at the quarterback position. So they saw the same thing, efficiency. So I know that's a nebulous standard and everybody wants the number, but you saw it in week one. They were tremendously efficient. Touchdown, 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 field goal on the first 4 drives. They weren't shooting themselves in the foot. Now, after the lightning delay, it wasn't the same. So there's plenty of room for improvement. You do have to get AJ the ball. All of that is true. It's not perfect. But I think he passed his first test with flying colors. Other people disagree, because they're looking at just numbers. He was third in the league, by the way. And by the way, Dak was second. So the 3 top graded quarterbacks this week, Matthew Stafford was 1, Dak Prescott was 2, Jalen Hurts was 3. You were doing the show. What did I say right away? That was pretty efficient game for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. What was he? 19 to 23, 3 throwaways and 1 drop.
Yeah, well, there were 3 throwaways and he had 1 legitimate targeted incompletion.
That was a drop, wasn't it?
I don't recall if it were a drop offhand, but
I thought I saw Kemsky, I think, maybe put it up that it was a Saquon drop.
Yes, Saquon did drop one. So yes, it was. Yeah, and that was a bad drop. Yes.
So basically, Jalen, I mean, he didn't really.
Well, yeah, they also only threw it down the field more than 10 yards once. So,
Yeah, but don't you think, John, I don't know, you could add more context to this. Don't you think people get a little bit too infatuated with that? Like if they're bracketing AJ and they have him in zone all game and they don't give him 1-man rep, as he pointed out in the Jordan Schultz podcast, isn't it? It's smart to take what the defense is giving you. That's why you have effective offense.
Yeah, that's efficiency. Yes. Now, again, you can say whatever you want, and AJ's right. They bracketed him, but there are opportunities in football games there's blown coverages all over the place. Nobody plays a perfect football game defensively. The Cowboys didn't. There were opportunities left on the field. But yeah, it's better to take, if you can, and the Eagles were in a position. Sometimes, again, when you're behind, you have to take more chances. You have to try to get back in the game, the context of all this stuff. So if you're in a game where you don't have to push it and you do what the Eagles did and just be efficient, yeah, it's better. But over the long haul, you can't play an entire season like that, throwing the football down the field 10 yards more once. You can't do it. It won't work. So it was a good first step in that particular game. You know, again, if CD Lamb catches some of these balls and you're down 10, all of a sudden, trust me, they would have threw the football down the field more than 10 yards, even though AJ was bracketed. It's just what you have to do. So you can't go through a whole season that, but they played a very smart game. And Jalen was very efficient. So circumstance of the game, and that's why Nick talks about that all the time as well. Jim would call it personality. Jim Schwartz. Every game's got a personality.
Right.
And the good play callers and the good defensive play callers, both sides, handle the personality of the game better than the ones who don't. So that's how I would describe it.
John, do you think Jacorian Bennett will get in this game?
Not unless Adoree gets banged up again. Doesn't seem that way.
No, I agree.
Now, yeah, if he gives up 2 touchdowns early, maybe. But I think the plan is to give him and Vic said he'll get a pretty long rope a couple weeks ago, and he's proven to be true to his word as he usually is. So yeah, I think you're going to have to suffer through Dory. I don't think it's going to be a suffrage. You know, they're not equipped.
They don't have as many receivers, man.
Yeah, they're not equipped to take advantage of it.
No.
Plus, I think people are overreacting. Not that he had a good game. He didn't have a good game. I'm not trying to defend it, but I think people are overreacting. Just similar to when people have good games, they overreact and assume it's going to be like that every game moving forward. Same thing. He knows how to play. He'll settle down. And this group isn't as equipped to take advantage of his deficiencies as last week's group was.
No doubt about it. Johnny Mac, talk about some of that roster turnover yesterday. I know we always like to keep on top of all the players here for the Birds. I think Eli Ricks was released yesterday from the practice.
By the way, can I, because I get so many of these comments, what the Eagles are doing is they're trying to get an extra player or two paid. They're trying to split the back end of the practice squad. So more guys get paid. Something Howie likes to do. It's sort of a way to extend the practice squad even further. So it's all sort of, everything. It's not churn like they're saying, because I had a lot of people say, why do you keep these guys on a yo-yo? No, they'd be out there making no money. And he's trying to keep them all sort of inside the family, as many as possible. It's a rotating group of 4 or 5 players. But then the second part is, boy, if I had a nickel for every time somebody said so-and-so isn't getting through waivers, I'd have a lot of stinking nickels. And Gabe Hall has gotten through waivers, so he'll be back. I'd have a lot of nickels, Zander. Oh, this guy, how could they do that? He's not getting through waivers. Well, he got through waivers.
Gabe Hall got through. He's back on the practice squad.
Not yet, but he will be.
Yeah. No, Les. I don't know. Les didn't join us yet this morning. I sent him an email. I doubled down with it, but I don't know where Les is.
Yeah. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, boy. That's on me. I got to remind Les. It's too late, though, now.
Yeah, it's probably too late now. I'd rather push him to tomorrow if he's still available for us, but that's all right. We'll get to Les Bowen. We'll get a couple more guests up for tomorrow's Football Friday edition of Birds 365 as we inch closer to week number 2. All right, in the NFL. Looking forward to the way it will take place this weekend with the Eagles and the Chiefs. And there is some excitement, John, I think, around the Super Bowl rematch. The NFL loves to promote that too. Super Bowl rematch. They're very different teams. I think Nick said that. I think Jalen said that.
I get the hype. I mean, yeah, it is a Super Bowl rematch, but is it really? No, probably not. As we mentioned, some of the players who aren't going to be there. The NFL moves fast, but the reality is the Eagles and the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. So the Eagles and the Chiefs are playing week 2. And the players that were there, yeah, I'm sure it has, Kansas City certainly doesn't want to play as poorly as they did in the Super Bowl. So there's some impetus from that standpoint. And certainly we talked about Spags earlier. Is he going to use the same game plan? I would hope not. Spags didn't work too well. So yeah, I get the hype of it, but yeah, a lot of different players, and that's the NFL, and that's why the Eagles have taken the approach they've taken. 2024 was 2024, and that was that group, and that group will never be together again. That's just the reality of the NFL. 30% turnover or more on every team.
Yep, it's a lot of turnover, no doubt about it, Johnny Mac. Good stuff here as we get ready for week 2 here. The special teams challenges, John, you think coming into this game, they've added Tank Bigsby. They lost Ben Van Sumer, and I think it's exciting that kickoffs are becoming a bigger thing in the NFL. I think it's a good play. Why get rid of it? So I'm excited the rule changes have brought it back a little bit. What kind of role you expect Tank Bigsby to have? He's going to be ready to go, right? He'll be suited up for the game.
I think so. I'm, not 100%, but I don't think he's going to help on offense, but I think, he can help on kick returns, and the fact that Will Shipley's probably not going to be able to go. Interesting, by the way, Will's injury should have mentioned that, was during the game listed as rib or ribs. And now he shows up on the injury report on Wednesday, and it's oblique. It's listed as oblique. So, need some more clarity as far as what's going on. But he was out there, but he wasn't practicing, obviously. And I don't expect him to be available in this game. So they need a kick returner. And John Mechie can do it, or AJ Dillon can do it. But to your point, kick returns, and that was my favorite part of week 1, man. They're back. Yeah, they're back, and they're meaningful. And that's part of the reason why the Eagles got Tank Bigsby, maybe the biggest part of the reason. They think he could be a big kickoff returner. And that's something you can do with no real ramp up. Just inside zone, outside zone. That's what they compare it to. Just go out there and do it now.
Yeah, I think Tank called it that, right? He said it's like basically a big running play.
Yeah. So he should be able to do that. I think they'll let him do it, but I'm not 100% because he got here so quickly. But offensively, for people expect him to be out there, I would say why? Number 1, because you want Saquon to be out there. And number 2, I think that part of it's probably too early, because there's a lot of stuff comes in. You got to pass protect. He's got a history with ball security. I'm sure the Eagles want to work on him with that because that's so important to them. So I think that'll take a little bit of while, barring, injuries. Obviously, sometimes you have to put guys out there, but kick returner, he should be able to do that right away, I would think.
John, Jalen Hunt was limited in practice yesterday. What do you know about that? Probably nothing major there, obviously, because it was limited. But Jalen Hunt popped up on the limited report yesterday with a hip injury. What do you know about Jalen?
Yeah, I mean, he played a lot of reps. Doesn't have a history. I always talk about that with young players. All of a sudden, you're playing a limited number, and all of a sudden you have to go out there and play a lot more than what you're used to. Man, that's part of the beauty of this game is that guys are everybody's banged up playing this game. You know, veteran guys seem to have a better feel to play through it. And hopefully that's the case with Alex. But he played 39 reps in week 1. So, it's something to keep an eye on with the younger players. I thought Morrow was in the same category. I thought Morrow was hurt more by Jalen Carter's absence than anybody else because he had to play so much. And I think he kind of wore down a little bit. So I think he'll be better with Jalen Carter back. And I think Alex is going to settle into a lesser role when Zadarius gets ramped up. So I think it'll all start to fit into place.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes with the addition of Zadarius Smith. It should fall into place, John, but we'll see. I mean, I think they still obviously want Nolan. Do you think they want Nolan to still be the lead guy in that room?
I don't think they care. I mean, to me, it's about the 2 lead guys,
Right.
and whoever. I just personally think, Zadarius has got, he's more accomplished, but he's also got a larger pass rushing bag, as they call it. He's got, everything. And Nolan's more a younger player still trying to add to his bag, so to speak. So I think from that standpoint, I just think Zadarius is better pass rusher at this stage, but those will be the 2 lead guys, and then everybody will fit in from there. And I think at that point, I think Jalex's spine is your 3rd and Josh Uche's spine is your 4th. I think if it works, I think this made the Eagles a lot better, this move.
I agree. John, what's on the agenda for the Eagles today, Thursday, going into a Sunday game? We're back on game schedule. Week 1 was a little different because we had the Thursday night game, so we never really got into the regular game flow of the week. What's on the agenda for the Birds today and then just for the rest of the week as they get ready for that Sunday match?
Yeah, I mean, they had a regular flow because it was week 1 and they had to, it's just the different days. You probably even heard Kevin Patullo at one point called whatever day it was, Friday, because in their minds it was a Friday. So you have 3 practice days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, on a normal game week, and that's just moved up on a Thursday game week. So it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So the whole framework is the same. It's just more. And for the Eagles, they're going to have a lot of these weird weeks, unfortunately. But this is one of the few normal weeks. And today is the Thursday practice, which will be about 2:15-ish. And then open locker rooms at 4:20, I believe. And then Friday, they have a more of a scale back practice, heavy emphasis on situational football, Saturday walkthrough, Sunday game. That's a normal NFL week. But last week was normal from a preparation standpoint. It wasn't normal from a day standpoint. And the coaches all call them by the day. They thought Sunday was Wednesday, Monday was Thursday, Tuesday was Friday. So same preparation wise.
Same prep, different days, but obviously more Sunday games than Thursday games for the Birds. So a little bit easier now with back on that normal schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles. John, you mentioned AJ. AJ was watching our interview with the governor.
Yeah.
AJ, I know you don't like to get players on, but I feel like AJ should break the threshold, man. I feel like AJ's worth it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Tell AJ I need him to come on and clarify to all of JAKIB Nation. All right, because I don't know if AJ likes Jacob very much because I think he has a problem with big sills.
Well, that's a problem too, man. A lot of people have problems with big sills, but
Yeah, well, they can all get the fuck over it. It's like ridiculous.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's true.
It is, when you're talking about. But when it comes to value of player interviews, I don't think they're very valuable in the situation because they're on guard. Like I have a good relationship with AJ
Off the record, right?
Yeah. So they're very on guard. And if if I break that confidence, obviously it's not gonna, but I don't, you know. But yeah, I mean, I don't see, and I get it from the standpoint of fans and they just want to see their favorite players. I'm trying to give people information. And if you're getting Nick Sirianni, blah, 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 no offense, Nick.
No,
But
sure, yeah.
But if you're getting, if you're just getting standard, like for movie fans, Bull Durham, where he's teaching the young kid how to answer media questions. If you're getting that, I don't get how valuable it is. So my whole standpoint of this, for people that don't know, when this show originally started, my hope was to get, reporters who understand what's going on and get the information that way. We might have had that with Les, but that's my fault. But yeah, it's always a back and forth. But yeah, I mean,
I get it. I think there's roles I think there's areas for both, to be honest with you. But promotional, and some things are, to grow the show as opposed to informational parts of it. And I don't know, I feel like we've done a pretty good job at kind of addressing all of those different things, John.
Yeah. Well, hey, if people want me to get players, I can get players, they'll probably need gift cards, but I can get, as many, but I don't, people see the value. That's up to you guys.
Yeah,
it's up to the business people.
Yeah, I get it.
But, so a lot of these things, like, when you say Brandon has a podcast with, I guess, PHLY, well, they're paying.
Well, that's for sure. They're definitely, that's different.
When you say Jason Kelsey's on WIP or Brandon Graham's on WIP, they're paying them. In the case of WIP, they pay millions of dollars for
a lot of millions of dollars.
Yeah. So I think people don't understand that. Now, there's a lot of fan shows that get players as well, and no offense to those fan shows, but like, that's not what I'm personally trying to do here. I
know you're an informational guy. I get that.
Yeah. So I'm not, like Chris Farley for Saturday Night Live fans when he was interviewing Paul McCartney. Hey, remember when you were in the Beatles? That was great. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking to do.
Right.
Not looking to blow smoke up, guys' asses, but
but don't you think there's like a medium where it's like, you're such like a knowledgeable guy. Like, I feel like you would get different from those players, and I understand they have a guard up and those things.
Yeah,
but I feel like you would be able to pull out some different things, especially with your knowledge about the history of the game, and somebody that like Saquon or like an AJ Brown. I feel like there's a lot more to get from an interview like that than there would be just like, oh yeah, what a fan would ask.
Well, I think I would get, I think I would get more than most people. But again, hey, it's easy to do. If you want to pay him, it's easy to do.
I wonder why AJ liked our governor interview, or why he watched that one. I guess the governor.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know. I said, he told me, we were just talking about, we were joking after he did his media scrum, and I usually circle back after all the people leave. And Jeff Nyberg from the Inquirer was there, and he had asked him a question, I guess, about passing, and he didn't answer it because he was like, and I said, oh, I got here late. What did he ask? And Jeff was apologizing for it. And I was like, and we were just joking around about it. And AJ said, yeah, I'm not touching that. And then he said, oh, I saw your interview. And I said, what? Oh, I thought it was the Shapiro one. And, but it was more about, and I don't know if it was the Shapiro one, but it was more about him as a decoy, because he thanked me for pointing out that he wasn't a decoy. Because now I can say the week prior, I had talked to him about the injury, and, if he was 100%, he said, yeah, he's completely fine. But yeah, so he's just, he says, yeah, he's not going to be on there week 1 as a decoy, essentially. Plenty of time to ramp up if he wasn't 100%. So to his credit, he wasn't using that as an excuse of, one target.
Yeah. I still don't understand. I mean, I know, we put this out in the post-game show, and I said, I feel like A.J. Brown needs to get the ball. And people are like, oh, well, you don't need to get the ball. We have Saquon, blah, 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 blah. Don't make this a big deal. It's week 1. And I'm like, we still have A.J. Brown. I mean, I think he should get the ball in every single game. That's just my thought process on it. Good things happen when you give A.J. Brown the football. That was my perspective on it. And it's still my perspective on it. It was my perspective on it last year.
I think everybody's perspective is the same for that. It's not sustainable. One target. You can say for one game. I mean, the bottom line is it's not sustainable. You're not going to win a lot of games if you're not, whether you think AJ is the best player on this team or not, he's one of the best players. You're not, if you don't get your best players involved, you're not going to win consistently. And everybody knows that. Nick knows that. Kevin knows that. And we went through this last year, and it's probably going to happen a few more times this year because they're not a high volume passing team, and they were more efficient this time.
Right.
Like last year when this would happen, and it never happened to this level as far as targets, but as far as lack of passing numbers, it happened 4 or 5 times where the numbers were too low, egregiously low. This time, I went out of all those games last year going, oh, that was pretty ugly. This year, I went out of this game and said, it's pretty efficient.
Right.
So it's different. They were more efficient with this performance than they were in those performances last season. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell you that's sustainable because it's not. You can't win a lot of NFL games only throwing the football down the field 10 yards once. Can't win a lot. And we probably would have had a different discussion if CD caught a couple of those footballs.
Yeah, definitely.
And they lose the game. We're having a completely different discussion. So I do not think it's sustainable.
I agree. We'll see what they end up doing. Johnny Mac, your final thoughts before you head down. I know they got practice today. Your final thoughts here on this Thursday edition of Birds 365.
I apologize for not reminding less.
That's all right. We'll get less up. We'll try and get another person for a double guest Friday. Maybe Les will be available tomorrow. Maybe he won't. John, you can text me and let me know on that. Great show today, brother. I will catch you tomorrow on a Football Friday, our final Birds 365 before the Eagles take on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl rematch on Sunday. Johnny Mac, great show, brother. Catch you tomorrow.
All right, thanks all.
All right, thanks, Johnny Mac. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen joining us here on Birds 365, a Thursday morning edition of the show. We're going to have one more show this week before the games on Sunday, so good stuff there for everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here today. We got a good crowd in here as always, so I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. All right, hit that like button. I don't know what we're up to. I don't know what we're up to here on Birds 365 on the like count. That's pretty cool. AJ Brown listening to the interviews. AJ doesn't like Jacob because of Cilia. I always get a kick out of that. People say the players don't care. Well, they care. They care, guys. They care, which I don't have a problem with either. I mean, they're entitled to block people out if they want to block people out, but I do get a kick out of it. Z, can you see if Ed? Yeah, Ed, the problem with Ed, with Kratz, Eduardo, is his morning schedule is crazy. He's never really available in the morning. All right, but hey, they are fans too. Well, yeah, to some extent. All right, we got the giveaway. We're supposed to have the giveaway today. All right, I have to pull together the way to do this giveaway, so we're gonna do it all together. All right, we're going to do it together here on Birds 365. I do have a couple jerseys, though. All right, let me see what I got. I know I got this Cooper DeJean jersey. I got, what else do I got? jerseys. I got some shirts. Still got a bunch of shirts. Fuck, where's mine? Give me a second, folks. What's this? No, I don't want to give away that. I gotta find all these jerseys, man. I gotta find all these jerseys. I got the Cooper Shiesty jersey. I love Cooper DeJean jersey. All right, get that out of here. It's like my part of my job description is like I'm like a shipping man. I gotta outsource this. But the problem is, I don't think I can hire somebody to manage all my hats. I got so many fucking hats. I don't know what to do with them all. Where's my other jersey? I thought I had a Saquon jersey somewhere. Fuck did I put that thing? I got a box of shirts, so we still have to give away all these shirts. Look. Oh, here's a Cooper DeJean. Here it is. This is Brandon Howard. This is your jersey still. Here's a Saquon. Saquon with the Super Bowl patch on it. This was supposed to be Josh B's. I got to get him a new size. All right, we got all these shirts that we're giving away too. All right, not going to do them all today, obviously, but I do have a couple jerseys here, depending on what size you people are. Brandon Howard, I still want to give you a jersey. I just don't know how to ship it to Canada because Customs sent this motherfucker back to me. They said, you're done. All right, we obviously dealt with that. These are big, though. These are XL, XL, and 2XL. So I got only big jerseys right now. I got to get some smaller jerseys here. Kirsten says, I never got my shirt. Kirsten, do I owe you a shirt? I don't recall. Well, let me see if it's on my notes. I did that. Well, Kirsten, you've been gone for 4 months. You know, you've been gone for 4 months. You never let me know. I just got them all deal with. I sent Flemings. I sent some other people that I owed a shirt to. Z, Sills definitely trolls. You give him a hint of drama about AJ, he will blow it up like no other. I like Sills and don't blame AJ for not liking him. Me neither. I don't really care, though. All right. Houston says, let me get a jersey and a bowl of Cooper Crunch. Fuck the Cooper Crunch. All right. Rich. That's weird. Yeah, Josh, I owe you some shit. I know you that. It's never enough. I swear to God. It's never enough. People always want more. It's funny, though. Whatever. I bring it on myself. I know. I bring it on myself here. Oh, are we going members only mode, Prince? You want to go members only mode? Dom says Xander Celia was calling him a bitch. AJ probably wants to beat the shit out of him. I don't really give a shit, Dominique Dabney. All right. Dirty Air becomes a member. Dirty Air, thank you, bro. I know you're a member on the site as well, so thank you for that. Should I kick out the grays? You guys want to kick out the grays? All these dusty grays in here? Let me get rid of them. All right, how am I supposed to do this giveaway? Because you guys didn't like my picker last year. You guys were like all picky about the picker that I used. Oh my God, this picker. I don't like the picker. That was you guys all year. I'm giving away jerseys left and right, and everybody's crying about the picker. Oh my God, the picker. How could he use this picker? My God, it's corrupt and broken. Oh my God. All right, let's go to members only mode here. Let's get the dusty grays out of here. I know my picker was fine. In fact, my picker was amazing. The first thing I got to do is go over to my website first. Let me see this for a second. Let me go to my website. Because the people who are getting the extra entries are on the website. You're right, Ryan. You are correct, my friend. Beggars can't be choosers. Members. All right, here we go. Farzetta is a member over on the website. All right, let me do this. Ready? Let me do this real quick. This is going to take me a while, so just settle in, everybody. I did not do anything for the giveaway before right now. Like, I didn't set up a giveaway. I didn't pull my list of names. I did nothing. I did absolutely zero to prep for this, okay? All right, so if you're a member on the website, jakibsports.com, if you are a paid member on the website, I am 2Xing your entries. So if you're a JAKIB Legend member, on the website, all right, wait, let me explain this. How do I explain this properly here? Let me figure this out for a second. Let's talk to ChatGPT for a second about this. Let's see what chat says to do. All right. Uh-oh. This fucking thing. Oh, man, it's so funny. Oh, man, this is funny. All right, let me look at this. What are people in the chat saying? You do need to get your website. It's jakibsports.com. What the fuck's hard to figure out about that? jakibsports.com. All right, so this is what ChatGPT says I should do, and it's basically what I want to do. All right. Yeah, Izzy, you can't do it through ChatGPT. By the way, what was up with everybody? And Izzy, you're in this camp. What was up with everybody crying about John giving comments on Charlie Kirk? Yeah, like, if you don't want to hear it, then turn it the fuck off. Don't tell us what to talk. I don't give a shit why you come here. Okay? I appreciate you for being here, but I'm not going to let you dictate what we talk about on the show. Okay? Oh, you're a sports channel. I don't give a fuck what we are or what you think we are. We're going to talk about what I want to talk about because this is my channel. My time, my effort, my money goes into this channel. All right? I'm not cooking Izzy B. I just got reminded. I'm not cooking her. There's plenty of people who are crying about it. I'm not cooking Izzy B. All right? 5 minutes of a 2-hour show. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Talk about football. I come here to. I don't really give a shit why you come here. Okay? I don't give a shit why you come here. If you want to stay, good. If you don't want to stay, go somewhere else. There's thousands of YouTube channels. Thousands. If we want to comment on something that was big in the world, I'm going to comment on it. And I don't really give a shit who says what. All right? Izzy B, I appreciate that perspective. She says, I'm just trying to keep it into sports because our world is divided. That's fine. But that's not going to stop me from commenting on it. That's your perspective, and you're entitled to that. If you don't want to listen to the show on the days when something happens because it's too divided for you, then click the X button and go listen to something else. That's fine. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I understand not everybody can manage conversations about things. I mean, I'm talking about it, though. That rocked my world, that shit yesterday. That was crazy to watch. That was verifiably insane to watch yesterday. All right? Seriously crazy. It has nothing to do with even who the person is or what it was, but to watch that unfold was crazy. Okay? Yeah, Ryan, I agree. I thought it was good too. Yeah, it messed me up, Daz. It was brutal, man. You know, I think about his wife more than anything. Because, and I'll get back to the giveaways in a second, all right? I think about his wife more than anything because think about his kids and you're like, as sad as and awful as it is for the kids, in a way, there's some youthful ignorance or not ignorance, but they don't know better yet. Like the kids, I think, were 3 and 1, and they're going to live with this and they're going to have to see this, and it's going to be a hard life for them, no doubt about it. And when they see this and the video, obviously, of their father being executed on social media that exists, it's, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't feel for the kids, but there's something very real about the wife having to explain to her kids. Like, how do you explain that? How do you say your dad's not coming home, not only today, but you'll never see him again. You'll never see your father again. She will live with this forever, and they all will. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to delegitimize it for everybody else, but it hit hardest for me. Maybe it's just because I got engaged this week, you know, and I thought about that happening to my girl, but awful, man. That is such a sad thing that happened yesterday. Such a sad thing. We live in a sad world. We really do. We live in a sad world. Which, again, is why I will sit up here on the program that I spend my time, you know, just like that, guys. Go look at Charlie Kirk's pages. A split-second moment. Gone. The businesses, the family, the life, the dedication, everything you do for your living, everything, you know, where you spend your time, how you do it, gone in a fucking second. I could be gone in a second. I could leave this world at any moment, and I'll never be here again on JAKIB Sports. I'll never address my business. I'll never work on it. I'll never talk to the people. I'll never see you again. That could happen in a moment, which, again, is why I don't give a shit who tells me to talk about what. And I don't give a shit if you don't like it. All right? Life is as fragile and as precious as you can possibly imagine. Very sad, man. Really sad. I feel for his wife. I feel for his family, his parents. 31 years old. I'm 27. Guy's 31 years old, man. Yeah, Curtis. Very sad, man. The pictures of him and his family. Whatever you think of the guy's politics, he certainly seemed like he was a very good family man. Certainly seemed like he was a good husband to his wife, a good father to his kids, you know, a good friend to his friends. That's what it seemed like to me. So. All right, let me get off that. Really bogged me down. All right, this is what ChatGPT says to do. I think it's right. All right. The 3 tiers I have are fan, family, and legend. All right, here we go. All right, so we are doing different levels of entries this year. Okay, so if you're a JAKIB family member, you're going to be taken care of better this year. I know that some people said I did more for legends and regular members and not enough for family members. I am going to increase your entries this year for family members. All right, so I want to thank our JAKIB family members. That's $10 a month you guys pay, and I appreciate that support for sure. The JAKIB Legend members who, you know, pay pretty significant money will be taken care of as well. Obviously, we will do some legend only. We will do some legend only giveaways as well. Not today. Today will be a full member, so anybody that's a member today will be included. But I'm trying to think of the right system for the JAKIB, you know, the different tiers. because I do want to give more entries as well for the website, because I make double the money on the website, guy. I mean, YouTube takes 50% of my fucking money, which is crazy. I had Tony, my guy Tony, text me the other day. He's like, Z, I went over to the site and became a member because I love you and I want you to get more of the money that I pay to your channel. And I'm like, thank you, Tony. I appreciate you, brother. All right. I appreciate you. So Cody K is my kind of supporter. He says, I'm just here for content and support the channel. Thank you, Cody. I know you're not only here for the upgrades. That's been for the giveaways. That's been proven, my friend. I appreciate you, Cody. All right. There's my guy, Tony. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you, brother. All right. I appreciate you. Export my memberships. Let's go do that now. Let's export my membership list. All right. First thing I want to do, though, is list out my members from the website. Website members. Okay. Tyler Braswell just became a legend member on the website. Tyler, thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much, man. I appreciate that very much. All right, so we got, I need to look by filter. Membership tier is, all right, so here are my paid members on Jacob's website. We have 10 of you guys who are paid on the website. So thank you guys for doing that. Jason A-Team, don't worry, you'll be taken care of. I promise you, A-Team. Jason A-Team is a double legend. So he's a legend on the website and a legend on the YouTube channel, which is crazy awesome. All right, so here we go. I'm going to write down Jason A-Team. All right, legend. This is going to take me at literally probably fucking an hour. Josh B. Thank you, Josh B. I think Josh B might be a double legend as well. I know he's a legend on the website. I have to check what he is on the YouTube channel. I'm just doing the website first because these are going to get more entries if you're a member on the website. Tyler Braswell, JAKIB Legend. Tyler, thank you, brother. Gary Sexton. Thank you, Gary, my boy Gary. I appreciate you, dog. He is a legend member as well on the website and I believe on the YouTube channel. Okay. So thank you very much for that. So my legends on the website are Braswell, Josh B, Jason A-Team, and Gary Sexton. Thank you guys, 4 of them. Thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate you very much. All right. Bear with me, though, because I got to build this out. All right. Legends. Family and fans. All right, here we go. Dank Bird Gang, 2-time winner last year. Love it, Dank. Appreciate you, brother. One of our best supporters is Dank Bird Gang. Been here every day. I love you, Dank. Appreciate you, dog. All right, Abe. Abe is a family member on the website and I believe on the YouTube channel as well. A lot of you guys are doubled up. If you don't stay doubled up, again, as long as you're a member somewhere, you will be entered in. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. And as long as you're a member somewhere, you're going to be entered in. I'm not going to leave off any paid members, whether it's on the site or on the. All right, so we got Abe, we got Tony, Abe, Tony. Kimberly, thanks for being here, Kimberly. See, this is the problem with turning on members only mode right now with doing the website too, because Kimberly is not a member on the YouTube channel. It was acting up for her. She's a member on the website, so I might have to turn off members only mode. If Kimberly's here, Kimberly, don't worry, I got you. All right, I'll turn off members only mode in a second. Tony, yay, family. All right, so 3 JAKIB family members: Kimberly, Tony, and Abe. Thank you guys for that. And then we got 3 JAKIB fans, I believe. Thomas Farzetta. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas Farzetta. Fly Eagles Fly. Fly Eagles Fly Eagles Fly made her username on my website. Fly Eagles Fly is a girl. I now know you well, Fly Eagles Fly. I know that you're one of our great female supporters. We have a couple of them. I mentioned one earlier, Izzy B, Fly Eagles Fly, Kirsten Carter, Wild Bear, I believe is also one of our great female supporters. We got a couple of them. All right, we got some good ones. Chris Scott becomes a member. Thank you, Chris. I'll get to all of the YouTube members in just a second. And Keith Johnson. All right, thank you, Keith. All right, so those are our people on the website. YouTube channel members now. Let's separate that. Let me go back here and make it so anyone can participate. Did I turn off? Please confirm in the chat that I turned off. Jacob. Rashid says, Zander, I got it, Rashid. Thank you, brother. I see it, my man. All right, perfect. Thank you for doing the yearly. That's pretty cool as well. Thank you, brother. So I'll adding you in as well. Rashid Mixon. Rashid, thanks, brother. Mixon. All right, got it. All right, members only is off. Thanks, guys. So if there's any other members in here who are members only on the site, I'm pretty sure Kimberly and Keith Johnson. Keith, if you're listening, I got you, Keith. I don't know if you're here. I don't know if you're a member on both because I just went to members only mode, so you couldn't comment for a little bit, but it's back off. There's Kimberly. Kimberly, thanks for being here. I just want you to know I do have you on the members. All right. I know you're not a member on the YouTube channel, but you're a member on the site. I just got another member on the website, Master Eagle. Master Eagle, thank you, brother. You guys are going to have until probably 11 until I do this giveaway to get your memberships in. So if you're not a member on either the site or the YouTube channel, become a member right now. All right, become a member right now to be entered into all the JAKIB giveaways we're going to do this year. As you guys can see, I talked to my jersey guy. I'm supposed to pick up more jerseys. Actually, tonight, it's Thursday night. I have 3 jerseys here. I have, 15 probably Super Bowl t-shirts I'm going to give away, and I'm getting a bunch more. I'm getting a bunch more jerseys as well. No, I did not do the giveaway yet. Bear with me. It's the first one of the year, so I got to organize. All right, I haven't looked at this shit since the last time we did one of these giveaways. All right, since the last time we did one of these giveaways. Now it's time. Houston says, this is going to be a good year for y'all, Zander. I feel it. Thank you, Houston. I think so too, my friend. I think so too. But I'm not focused on the end result like Jalen Hurts once said. I'm focused on the process each and every single day. All right, not to be a cliche, but it is the right way to approach business. All right, you got to grind each and every day. All right, here we go. Let's go look at my my members here on the YouTube channel. Chris Scott, thanks for becoming a member today. All right, JAKIB family, appreciate all of you guys. I have 324 members on YouTube. All right, 46 of those 324 are gifted memberships. So if you're gifted, congratulations, you're entered into the giveaway. But if you're when your thing expires, you're not going to be entered into the giveaway in the future. So you will be a giveaway in the giveaway for now. If you're gifted, we have 278 members that were not gifted that willingly went and signed up for the membership. So thank you all for those people. All right. I cannot split them by who's gifted and who's not, but let me save this file. Devin, the difference between the site and the YouTube is honestly more for me, brother, because YouTube takes about 50% of the memberships if they're done through an Apple device. It's 30% if it's not done through an Apple device. So the site is basically, I only have a 3% fee. So basically people who just, want more of the money to come to my pocket as opposed to I don't know, the shitty fucking YouTube who takes a lot of my money. But at the end of the day, I can't complain too much. Thomas Gruber just became a member on the website. Thomas, there you are. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm adding you into the site as well. All right. Thomas Gruber, here we go. Okay, you're added in. If you only sub from the site, are you a gray on YouTube? Yes, you are a gray on YouTube. All right. Yes, you are a gray on YouTube. B. Howe is a blue, but he's not a member right now. What's your site, Zander? It's jakibsports.com. jakibsports.com. I'm going to get a better flow of content coming on that site as well. You're good, Rich. Whatever you want to do. You don't have to. I can't criticize all grays because some people are grays and they're not grays on the website. All right. Cobra says Silzone Zander. LOL, Cobra. That's pretty funny. Jim Adams becomes a member. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it, my friend. All right, let me get that now. Can someone tell me what type of member Jim just came from? Or what type of membership Jim just got? I got it. JAKIB family. Thank you, Jim. All right, so Jim will be added into my JAKIB family members. All right, let me organize this list. I got 324 members. I can sort this thing. Organize. Show filter. Nope, don't want that. Organize. Okay. Sort. Sort by current level. All right, here we go. Now I got JAKIB family members. Anton, how about that? Became a JAKIB family member. All right, thank you to all of our JAKIB family members. There is 24 of you. Okay? 24 of you. Legend members. Family members. JAKIB fan members. All right. I got to get organized here. It's going to take me a bit. So if you're not patient, try somewhere else. Okay. Houston, thanks for being a fan. A JAKIB family member. Richard Butts, Fly Eagles Fly, Chief Keese, Christopher Darker, Carson Deniston, Spiko Active, Mac Main, Rich is in here. Prince Swayze is a family member. Kyle Kokorski, Texas T, Bombay Trippy, Real Zeal, Tony. Thank you, Tony. Chris Scott, Philly to Chicago, Devin Parker, Abe. Thank you all, guys. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. All right, copy. Damn, I don't want it in this fucking... How do I get rid of that? Yeah, convert to text. All right, perfect. There we go. All right. Family members are in. And did Chris Scott just become a family member? Is that right? No, Jim Adams. Jim Adams just became a family member. And Chris did too, but I got Chris on here. Chris Scott, you're on here. Jim Adams is now entered in. All right. You guys got to let me know. Keep me posted if somebody else becomes a member and I miss it. All right. I got 2 more members on the website, Brandon Howard and JD3. Thank you, guys. Brandon Howard, JD3 on the website. So thank you for that. Brandon Howard, appreciate you, brother. Brandon, I got to figure out how to get you something for obviously customs fucking up our jersey for you last year. We'll figure that out. All right, let's pull the legend members from my list. All right, we got Dirty Air, Mike Berghorst, Cody K, Chester Parks, JD3, Philly Don, 83 Rainy Boy, Shane O'Mac, Philly Fangirl, Takeem Hilton, Sasha R, Jason A-Team, Dakota Warren, Vulnerable Vitality, Chris Albright, CZ, Dirty D, Jay Ronamu, Matt NG, JT Philly, SB Ricky, Howard Nolte, Brian Fleming, Sue Chick, Jesse G, Chad Whitaker, Shady Westbrook, Clary Boy, Mad Bird, TK Washington, Mad Dio, Seth Shifley, Tyler Braswell, and Bob Brown. Those are our JAKIB Legend members on the website. or excuse me, on the YouTube channel. Okay, so thank you guys very much for that. There's our legend members officially entered in. All right, and then now let's do our JAKIB fans, who are much appreciated as well. Let me get these guys. CT Philly fan is first here on this list. Okay. All right, all of our members I have now on a list. Okay, I got everybody on a list for our members. Thank you guys for being supporters of JAKIB Sports. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here as always. All right, so thank you guys for doing that. I'll correct one thing. Brandon says 97% profit. And it's not 97% profit. All right, I got people to pay, so it's not all profit, but at least I don't pay financial fees to get the money. All right. YouTube takes a lot of those funds. So when you sign up on the website, it does help out a lot. All right. I got one more membership on the website. Chris Scott. Thank you, my friend. JAKIB fan on the website. Thank you, Chris Scott. So Chris Scott is now doubled up. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna get ChatGPT to make me a max list. This is what I'm gonna say to do. If you're a member on the website, it's 2x. So if you have one entry, it's 2 entries. Okay, hear me out though. This is gonna be a little bit complex. Hear me out. Legend members, every $5 you pay a month is an entry. So if you're a JAKIB fan, that's 1 entry. If you're a JAKIB family member, it's 2 entries. If you're a JAKIB Legend member, it's 5 entries. All right, so Legend members are going to have a significantly higher chance of winning than a fan. I'm trying to get everybody, but this is how you got to do it because people are paying more, and I want to thank them and take care of them as well. Now, take your base of what you get membership-wise, and if you're on the website, 2x it. All right. So if you're on the website, you're getting you would get let me type this in the chat because it's going to organize my list for me. Okay. This is my master list. Every $5 paid per month equals 1 entry. I know, Brian, I need my fucking calculator, dude. I'm fucking mixing myself up right now. All right, every $5 paid per month is 1 entry. If you're a member, how about this? If you're a member on the website, you get, it's just every $5 is 1 entry. That's basically it, A-team. And then if you're a member on the site, I'm going to give you an extra entry. All right. So if you get 5 for being a Legend member, you're not going to get 10 for being on the website. You're going to get an extra entry. So you'll get an extra. No, because that's not fair to Legends on the website. Fuck. How do I do this? Back in Calculus 101. Yeah, you're right. All right. You get a bonus entry as a fan, 2 bonus entries for being a family member, and 3 bonus entries for being a Legend member. So take the entire list and organize it for me based on entries per member. Here's the list. Let's see if this does this right. All right, there's a chance it does this right. If you know how to use these AIs, they're pretty good. But you can't just Mac is open, says that's why there are legends only giveaways, bro. Mac, cry me a fucking river, dude. Seriously, cry me a fucking river. I'm working on a spreadsheet, Waddington. Give me a second here. Yes. No, Mac didn't lose his entry, but he can shut up. Don't tell me how to give away things to people on the channel that are supporting my channel. I'm gonna do it. Guess what? This is not a republic, okay? This is communism. How about that? I'm in charge. This is a dictatorship. All right? This is a dictatorship. I'm doing it however the hell I want to do it. All right, ready? This is how it's going to work. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're a fan, a family, a legend, how the entries work for you. All right, if you're a fan on YouTube only, you get 1 entry. If you're a fan on the website only, you get 1 + 1 bonus. That's 2 entries. If you're a family member on YouTube only, that's 2 entries. If you're a family member on the website only, that's 2 + 2 bonus entries. That's 4 entries. If you're a legend member on YouTube only, that is 5 entries. If you're a legend on the website only, that is 5 + 3 bonus entries. All right, for 8 total entries. So basically, website members are getting just a bonus entry. For a fan on the website, you get 1 bonus. For a family member on the website, you get 2 bonus. And for a legend member on the website, you get 3 bonus. Okay? So legend website only would be 5 entries plus 3 bonus. You get 8 total entries. Now, if you're a member on both, that's doubled up. That's doubled up. All right? Zander Jung-un, perfect. You can call me that. Zander the Great, perfect. Love it. All right? This is my fucking house. If you don't like it, leave. Don't care. I think I broke ChatGPT. It's been analyzing for 30 seconds for 3 minutes on how to organize these entries properly. I sent it the whole list of names and based on who's a member where. Let me make sure I got all my other people. All right, I got everybody. Did we get missed any members on the website or on the computer? No. All right. JD3 says stick to sports. JD3, blow me. So a legend on both gets 16. Correct, Tyler. Correct. All right, here we go. Yeah, so like here it has Abe is a family member on both. So he gets Abe is a family. I'm using Abe as an example. Abe is a family member on both. He gets 6 entries because he gets 2 for being a member or a family member on YouTube, 2 for being a family member on the website, and then 2 bonus for being a website member. All right, so this actually did this correctly. That's impressive. All right. 83 Rainy Boy is a legend on YouTube. 5 entries. Who has our most entries? Here's Brandon Howard. He is a legend member on the website. Means he has 8 entries. Dirty Air, let me find you. You're a good example because you're a legend on both. So let me find you. Just to confirm that you're right, you should be getting 16 entries. Oh my God. There's 2 different Dirty Airs because of, I got to make sure I put the names. Fuck. I have to make sure. I typed the name slightly different and it picked up 2 different people. That's fine. I should still be able to get it. But it does have 2 dirty airs, 8. So wait a second. What did I put here? All right. Damn it. I have Dirty Air gets 5 for being a legend on YouTube. And then I put him as Gary Sexton. Why did I type your name? Why did I type your name and not just keep Dirty Air? Where's G? All right, and then he gets 8 for being a legend member on the website. All right. Mike Berghorst. Yes, you are, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, let me change. This is pretty good, actually. What I really should have done was I should have made sure the names were perfect. Because now I got, who else is both? Anybody else both? Tyler Braswell has 13 entries for both. That makes sense. All right, so Tyler Braswell is a better example because his name was the same in both. He has 13 entries, which is the most you can have. The most you can have is 13 entries. JD3, you also have 13 entries. You're a legend on both. Okay? Dirty Air, you have 13 entries, but it comes in the form of 2 different names. Okay? JD3, you're here. It says 13. Here, I'll share it with you guys so you guys can see. Josh B, it actually might not be Josh because, yeah, all right. So I have Josh B and then I have Josh B Legend. I'll show you. Here, let me pull up the thing so you guys can see it. All right, here's the giveaway list. All right, you can see it here. All right, can I zoom a little more here? All right, here we go. So you can see Abe is a member on both. It has the entries around here. All right, it shows the source as well. All right, so you can see how many entries you have. Anton has 2. He's a family member on YouTube. All right, Bob Brown's a legend on YouTube. He's got 5 entries. Brandon Howard's a legend on the website. He gets 8 entries. Okay, legend on YouTube, Brian Fleming, 5 entries. All right, legend on YouTube, Chester Parks, 5 entries. Chris Albright, legend on YouTube, 5 entries. Okay, you guys can see what I'm doing here. Family on YouTube, Devin Parker, 2 entries. Dirty Air, there you are, legend on YouTube. That's 5 entries. All right, Gary, I'll show you your other one too that has 8. So 8 plus 5 is obviously 13. That maps out correctly. Okay, that maps out correctly. The most amount of entries you can have is 13. There's Gary Sexton right there. So Gary and Dirty Air, legend website member. That's 8 entries right there. 13 for JD3. Jay Ronamu, legend on YouTube, 5 entries. 8 entries for Jason A-Team. So I have 1 Jason A-Team with website and Jason A-Team with a dash is the YouTube. 8 plus 5 is 13. There you go. So the max amount you can have by being a legend on both is 13. Here's Josh B. He's a member on both. He's a fan on YouTube. That's 1 entry. And he's a legend on the website. That's 8 entries. Okay. That's probably the best bang for your buck right there is that setup. A fan on YouTube and a legend on the website. All right. Kimberly Sirico is a family member on the website. She has 4 entries. All right. 5, Mad Bird, Mad Dio. All right. So you guys see what I did, right? I think you guys can see what I did. Now, because I'm still about to list these out. Now I got to ask ChatGPT to make a list out. Make it a list and include each entry amount as its own listed name again. I want to Copy and paste this into my giveaway picker, but I cannot put entry. So just type the names. All right, perfect. Here we go. Here we go. All right, I did this quicker than I thought. It's 10:47. Not bad, everybody. Not bad. All right, it got it. It got exactly what I wanted it to do. Yeah, baby. All right, so now you're going to see. Because we're putting it into the giveaway picker, all right, which you guys all hate, which again, I don't care. This is a dictatorship, as I just told you. All right. All right, this is beautiful. Yes. Yeah, GPT-5 is very slow. It is. It is. It says, this list is very long. Do you want me to give you the entire file as a downloadable TXT file? Yes, just shut up and give me the damn file. ChatGPT. All right, here we go. All right, this is fucking beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Now, the hard part's going to be editing this thing every week, but it is what it is. All right, here's the TXT file. So you can see, all right, Abe with 5 memberships or 5 entries. That means his name is typed out 5 times. 83 Rainy Boy, it's typed out 5 times. So based on your entry map, Brandon Howard, it's typed out 8 times. All right, Brian Fleming, 5. So you can see, based on how many entries you get, that's how many times your name is listed. Dirty Air listed 5 times right there. Gary Sexton listed 8 times right there. All right, JD3 listed 13 times. JT Philly, Jason 18. All right, there you are, 18. Jesse G, Josh B. All right. All right. Now it's time. Now it's time to pull up the giveaway picker, which everybody will cry and cry and cry and cry about. And I don't care. Okay? I don't care. All right? I don't care. The cousin picker is back. You can say that again. I see 6 for Abe. Joe, don't tell me you're trying to stir this thing up. 1, 2, 3. It's 5. No, it's 6. No, that's because Abe is. Abe should have. 6. He's a family member on both websites. So 6 for Abe means family on YouTube is 2 entries. Family on the website is 2 entries. That's 4. Family member on the site is +2. That's 6. Abe for 6 is correct. Abe for 6 is correct. Correct, Abe. You're supposed to have 6. All right. Let the crying begin is right, Kirsten. My bad. I said 5. Correcting. My bad. Pile Driver says, am I on the list? Now here we go with all the people who are going to, oh my God, am I there? Am I there? Am I there? I'll tell you. All right. Give me a break. Let me make sure. Did I copy and paste this whole thing or did Joe Whip distract me? All right. Now it's time for the cousin giveaway picker that all you nerds hate. Sortios. Yes. Here we go, baby. First JAKIB giveaway of the year. By the way, the winner of this will be able to pick. Well, first you'll tell me your jersey size, okay? First you'll tell me your jersey size. All right, here we go. All right, this is money. This is money. This is money. Yes. She's back, everybody. Wait a second. Should I make an account on this thing? Will it keep a track of all of my giveaways? Let me do that real quick. Incoming tears from all the people who are going to cry. Oh my God. Oh my God. Please go quicker. Please. Zander, please. I have somewhere to go. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. Giveaway picker. All right. All right. Now we're in. All right. Here we go. JAKIB first giveaway. We go back to my TXT file, copy that, and paste. All right. 563 entries. 563 entries. What did my TV just reset? Come on. Shut up, Kyle Brant. I don't want to listen to you right now. Okay. That's the same old BS Chisler picker. Yeah, well, welcome to my dictatorship, Daz. Welcome to my dictatorship. Liam, the Chiefs fan, is in here. I can assure you he's not on the giveaway. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing that we will collectively decide together today. We will collectively decide this together right now. Okay? We will collectively decide. Do you have to be present to win this giveaway? Do you have to be present to win the giveaway today? This is different from a legend giveaway or a fan giveaway or any of those things. Izzy says yes. Yes. If you're a legend, no. Well, this is, I don't know. Dad says, get him out of here. JD3, not for this one. Ooh, that's a tough one. All right, a lot of yeses. Yes is the overwhelming majority. You must be present to win. You must be present to win. I see enough yeses in the chat. You got to be present to win. It was that last year, Rashid. Wrong. Wrong, Rashid. Crowley says, if you're a legend, no, especially the ones paying $50 a month. Now, I happen to agree with that. All right. Why is this thing so zoomed out? All right. These are, by the way, this is alphabetical order. So I don't want to hear any bullshit about skullduggery. All right. This is what I call alphabetical order. Ever heard of it, Stenods? It is. It's right, Eduardo. But the thing is, with the way I'm doing the entries this year, Eduardo, our legend giveaway is necessary because you're getting so many extra entries in our regular giveaways. Big Try, didn't you get a Z note? Didn't you get a Z note last year? You won the Bond jersey. Skullduggery. Yeah, I love that word. Skullduggery. All right, let's do it. For the first giveaway, You must be present to win. We will. Rashid says it wasn't like that for the Saquon. No, you're right, Rashid. It was like that for the random giveaways. You're wrong, Xander, but whatever. Now, Rashid, you're right. Last year, I gave you 24 hours to claim your prize. Last year, I gave you 24 hours to claim your prize. And this year, in place of Saquon, that's what this giveaway is. This is the defense giveaway that we launched this year. All right. Rashid has a point. On any of these Saquon giveaways last year, we did give you 24 hours to claim your prize. All right. Rashid's got a point. Rashid's got a point. And I kind of liked the way we did that last year. You had 24 hours to claim your prize. Any of the randoms I throw out, like I'm going to do another giveaway today. All right, I'm going to do another. I'm not only doing one today. The first one is the jersey, but I'm going to do two. I'm going to do a second giveaway today. I will do a second giveaway today. Rashid throw a wrench in my plan before I can click the pull button. Now, the second one I'm going to do right now. The second one I'm going to do right now. Yeah, it's Hurts 275. It's not Barkley this year. So, Legends get 24 hours. Everyone else, no. That might be fair. That might be fair. Yeah, if you're a Legend member, that buys you time. That makes sense to me. That buys you time. Time is money, baby. Time is money. All right, let's do this. Let's click start. We got one winner. Yeah, you guys remember it well. All right, we got our 563 entries. Any last minute entries? Any last minute entries coming in? Any last minute entries? Even as a non-Legend member, I agree that's fair. Okay. All right, so we'll do that. Rico must think we live in a constitutional republic here on JAKIB Sports. Rico, welcome to my dictatorship. What I say goes, Rico. To quote JAKIB, come on. All right. Get your memberships in. Any last minute members? Any last minute members? All right, here's the good news. You guys bared with me today. Vladimir Zander, I love that. Ready? Since you guys bared with me today, all right, since you bared with me today because I had to figure all that out, and now that I have my process to a certain extent, and I know what I'm doing for the entries and how to do it now, I will give away something today, and I will give away something tomorrow on a Football Friday, okay? So I will give away something tomorrow on a Football Friday. Now, I told all of you guys that, I got to get some of this season money. I don't get my September money till the end of October, all right? Anybody that works in media knows there's a 30 to 60-day period until you get paid your money. So once that season money hits in October and November, I'm going to be able to get a lot more giveaways for the channel. I'm a little bit tighter right now, everybody. So I will do a giveaway, though, today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow, and I'm doing two today. Okay? What do you mean that's wild? It's not wild, Jason. I'm used to it. Sold to the man with the top hat. Love it. All right, here we go. First giveaway is in. Now, if you are a Legend member, you do not have to be present. All right, wait. Before we do this, what did we fucking decide? Do you have to be present for this shit or not? Don't forget Cooper Crunch in the bowl. Houston, I did not order Cooper Crunch. I'm smelling another Abe victory. Zander Krause is back, and he's back early, Brandon. He's back early. Over 5, nah. 2 winners for the first giveaway. No, I'm just doing 2 different giveaways today. Second one's not going to be as good as the first one. The first one's a jersey. Get him out of here is a big part of the giveaway. Curtis, you're right, but it wasn't a big part of the Saquon jersey giveaway. Remember, they had 24 hours. I put the post up and said you have 24 hours to reach out. All right. All right, I'm going to make you wait. I got to take a piss. Give me a second. I'm going to take a piss. You guys can wait. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Did you miss me? I'm back. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? That was like a hose. Holy mackerel. Xander just hit the Mark Holmes on us. I don't even know what that means. 5 months of fun is blasting off. Brandon, that's a good way to put it. Definitely a flush. Definitely not a hand wash. No. What do you got? Like, what do you play with yourself in there? What are you doing? I did just pee like a racehorse. I had to go. I wouldn't often walk away from the show for a leak. All right, here we go. Here we go. You guys are goofy. Mike Berghorst, did you wash your hands? Fuck, man, you guys are weird. You know, I always laugh at the people who are sick like 4 times a year. I'm like, yeah, those are always the people that always live in the bathroom washing their hands. How about you just don't play with yourself when you take a leak, you weirdos? And Reyes, that is fucking classic. That is fucking classic. All right, let's do this giveaway. Do you have to be present or fucking not? You have to be present or not. What are we doing on this? Yeah, Abe, really. Seriously, Abe. Present. Got to be present. Got to be present, they say. Yo, Embrace, that is a funny comment. Be here or you're out of here. Wearing my Kelly Green Barkley jersey for luck. Kevin, I hope you win. Oh, Kevin, I think you sent me an email the other day. Let me look for that. Did you send me an email the other day? That was pretty cool if you did. Apologize for not answering you. You find that email. You did. Kevin says to me, I'm not going to read it out loud. Kevin, thank you for that email. That was a very nice email, my friend. Z, after the giveaway, check your text. 38. Let me look at it right now. Oh, I see. I forgot to answer you yesterday. Wait, where is that 30 air? Is that, ooh, what is that? A C6 ZR1? Is that what that is, Dirty Air? Looks like a C6. C6 ZR1? Is that what we got there? Dude, that has nitrous in it? What? I love the C6, dude. Oh, I'm going to watch that when I get off. All right. Gary, now is not the time. Yes, it is. It's always the time. All right. All right, here we go. Get ready, you nerds. Confirm. How many shuffles? We're doing 3 shuffles. 1 shuffle. 2 shuffles. 3 shuffles. Brian Pumper is at the top of the list. I would call that bad luck. I would call that bad luck for everybody in the chat. Start. Oh, my. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. James Carver. My boy, James Carver with the W. I love James Carver. He just lost his pup recently, man. I fucking love James Carver. What did we decide? Do you have to be here? I think James is a, how many entries did James have? James Carver's a 1-entry guy. So no, he's not a legend. He's not a legend. He's not a legend. Carver has given us insane support on the channel. He has. He gave us a $300 super chat the other night. Or no, how much was that super chat? Was it more than that? I love it because it does prove it only takes one. He is a 1-entry guy right now. Rashid, how many more tears are you going to cry this morning, Rashid? Holy shit. He is. He's a legend in his own way, Waddington. Wait, let me go and look at that. He gave us one of the craziest super chats we've ever gotten. He gave us one of the craziest super chats we've ever gotten. I'll find it. $300 super chat he gave us on the JAKIB Green Zone. And wait a second. On the very same day, listen to this, guys. This is why Carver's getting this prize. I don't really give a shit what you say. This is why James Carver's getting this prize. $299.99 super chat on the JAKIB Green Zone on September 5th. A little earlier that evening on the JAKIB pregame show, $99.99 super chat. That's a $100 super chat. All right. A little earlier on that very same show, $49.99. That is $450 of super chats in one single day. $450 in one day. Akbar says, everybody except me. How are we going to collectively do shit if you're the dictator? Easy for cheesy. Don't make me put you in a fucking blender, my boy. All right? Yeah, right. Give that man 2 jerseys. I think they should give him 3. All right, let me text Carver and see. So I got the Carver jersey on lock. Now, the next jersey I'm going to give. All right. No, I'm not doing another jersey today. Rashid, are you still fucking going on and on about being present? Holy mackerel, Rashid. Let it go, Rashid. I'm trying to do something fun for the channel. You don't have to make it. You don't have to turn it into everybody's on edge about how fair or unfair it is. All right. Yeah, I'm going to give it to James Carver for sure. Zero doubt. Thomas Gruber, you did not win yet, okay? All right. All right, here we go. I'm going to text James Carver because I do have Carver's info. Where is my boy Carver? James should get one of those. I agree. $350 game jerseys. It's not a bad idea by you. Although anybody who won one of my jerseys last year does know that these are pretty good. All right. Anybody who got one of my jerseys last year knows that they are pretty nice freaking jerseys. Especially the Kelly Green ones. Let me show you this thing. I really hate taking it out because it's folded so perfectly. But I'm going to take it out and just keep it folded. All right, but you can see how good quality this jersey is. Got the stitched numbers. See that? They're nice jerseys. They're really nice jerseys. All right. They're nice. Midnight Green stinks? I don't think Midnight Green stinks. I think Midnight Green's I like the Eagles jerseys. I don't know if I'm in favor of like going all Kelly Green. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys like a go Kelly Green kind of people? Primo likes his Stout U hoodie. I gotta love it, Primo. All right, so we're gonna give this to Carver here. Carver's W. All right, we're doing one more giveaway. Joe Whip says Kelly Green will be the primary next year. No way. You think so? Kelly Green is cool, but I think the Midnight Green's pretty dope too, man. Yo, Tony, I'm not even kidding you. I'm considering it. Tony, I'm considering trading the white and ordering a new 26 in the green. How epic would that be for Jacob? The C8 in green, Roswell green. Did you guys see that? Who saw that? Tony, I would do it, man. I would do it. I'm a shake and baker. I'm a shaker and a baker. Gold accent. I never even thought about that. I don't know if I would like that. Yeah, let me show you guys this Roswell green. Dude, the Roswell green is so sick. Oh my goodness. Dude, I would make this like the certified Eagles car. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Check this thing out. This is like the JAKIB Sports automobile right here. Why have just a C8 when you can have a C8 that meshes both my businesses? Look at that thing. Are you kidding me? Dude. Are you kidding me? Look at that. That's like almost Kelly Green. It's not really Kelly Green, but it's close. Yeah, that's me is right, Waddington. It's so sick, dude. I might have to trade in the white for that Roswell green. Jacob wrap for it. Oof. I don't know if I'd be able to wrap that thing in my right mind. I'll put a PPF on that thing, but probably ceramic coat it, PPF it, but Ryan says that's the green from the Mexican flag. You're getting deported in that. That's pretty funny. Fly to the dealerships there. That's got your name all over it. ZK's Garage needs that Corvette. I think that would be a better bang for my than my white. I do. I like my white vet, but come on. That's no Roswell green. That's no Roswell green right there. All right, we're doing another giveaway. All right, this giveaway is not going to be as legendary or as dope as a sick Eagles jersey. Until I get more Eagles jerseys, it's going to be hard to do. I do I want to do the hat? The hat's a pain in the fucking ass because I don't have boxes for the hats. I don't have boxes for the hats. That's hot, Z. That's you. Yeah, maybe I have to make a trade, everybody. All right, what are we giving away next? What are we giving away next? I got so many of these Eagle shirts that I do not want any of them. And I want to give them all to you guys. I got like literally more Eagle shirts here than I know what to do with. So we'll give away like a double pack of these or something right now. Let's give away 2 of these and maybe a hat. I think I got 1 more of these signature shirts. Yeah, it's a size small. I had 1 more. I sent it to last one I sent was the Bird Gang girl. This is my favorite one. They wore this on the field, I think. This is an XL. Got the W. They wore this on the field as well. Gray. This has the 4 game scores on the back. Heather gray. Holy mackerel, I got a lot of shirts. Holy moly. I got to give some of these away. All right, we're giving away all these this season. But I'm not doing one at a time for these. I'm doing like double packs. I'm doing a double pack. All right. These are all Eagle shirts, and they're all Super Bowl shirts. All right. Devin says never buying a white car again. I don't know, Devin. I kind of like my white vet, but it's not exactly my favorite thing. I mean, I love it, but I'm not like a white car guy. I mean, I didn't want a truck in regular color. What would make you think I'd want a Corvette in a regular color? My favorite color Corvette is actually Tony's. I've showed you guys Tony's. Xander, see if you can make a deal with Melon and get some custom hats. I got the Melon hat. Look, here's one. This is a melon. I don't like this color. I have the gray one too. Where's the gray one? I don't know where the gray one is, dude. You guys don't understand how many hats I have. I really don't think you have any idea how many hats I have. Why, Devin? What? The thing I like about the white is it does hide dirt pretty well. It does hide dirt pretty well. All right, it does hide dirt pretty well. Get some fitted hats, Joe. Well, this is fitted. Yeah, Brian, they're nice, dude. They're solid hats. They're solid hats for sure. All right, we're going to do a double T-shirt giveaway now. All right, let's do a double T-shirt. For this one, you have to be present, okay? You have to be present. This is just a regular T-shirt giveaway. If you're not here right now, you're not winning it. So this might take a couple times. We only have how many people watching on YouTube right now? 270. So there's a good chance you can win this one. You got to be you have to be present for this one, no doubt about it. Really? What the fuck just happened? Double T-shirt winner. All right, got to be present for this one. All right, here we go. Confirm. There's our participants, same amount. I don't think we got any new members. Let me double check. Nope, no new members yet. Okay. Any new members on YouTube? No. Appreciate everybody for being here. Let's go. 1 shuffle, 2 shuffles, 3 shuffles. You got to be present to win. 10 seconds. All right, ready? I think I have like sound effects too. I can start adding in on these. That'd be funny as shit. Drum roll. How about that? Alexander Harris is our winner. Is he here? Alexander Harris, are you out there? Alexander Harris, are you out there? I got a feeling A. Harris is not here. Is Alexander Harris here? That guy stinks. He doesn't stink. He's a good guy. Get him out of here. We need flexing for the get him out of here. You like my drum roll, Devin? You like my drum roll? What other sound effects did they give me in here? This is everybody when the giveaway's going. That's supposed to be a heartbeat. Doesn't really sound that good. This is the certified Prince sound effect. This is the Prince sound effect. Is Alexander Harris here? No, he's not. He's out of here. Don't worry. He's done, though. What else we got? This is me when all of you nerds think that this is not a dictatorship. No, actually, that's all of you when I tell you it's a dictatorship. All right, sis pots. Keep crying. What else we got in here? What else do we got in here? What is this goofy one? Oh, that was dumb. All right, with that one already. Applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. The laugh track was terrible. Shady says, Shady doesn't like the giveaways. That's all right, Shady's. Yeah, I got to get my people to make me some sound effects. Now that StreamYard allows me to update them. All right, that's pretty fun. This is you guys when Alexander Harris wins his shirts. All right, let's do another one. Abe, shut up. Abe, shut up. All right, here we go. Oh, are you kidding me? Is it going to do this to me every time? All right, here we go. Confirm. 1 shuffle, 2 shuffles, 3 shuffles. Start. You must be present to win. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brian Waddington. Yay, he's in here. I thought I just saw B-Wad. Come on, Waddington. I know you're out there. I know you're out there. Come on, Waddington. Where is he? Where's my boy Waddington? Where is my boy B. Waddington? Tell me he bailed at the last second. Yeah, he's here. Let's go, Waddington. Waddington, what size t-shirt are you, brother? I got to send you. Texas T, I'd like to send you some too. I know I owe you JAKIB merch, but I'm revamping that shit right now. So if you want a couple Eagles t-shirts, let me know what size and I'll put them for you. You could DM me, Texas T. I know I owe you some shirts, or I owe you some JAKIB merch. Brian Waddington, what size? Large. Okay, here we go. Good job, Brian. Ready? All right, here's large. We got a gray and large. That's XL. That's XL. I'll show you all the large options. You get to pick a couple of them. That's a 2X. That's an X, XL. This is a medium. Here's a large. All right, so we got the Super Bowl LIX champions in a large. That's a medium. That's a large, another LIX champions. A little slightly different. Here's a large. Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. It's a medium. It's an XL. XL. Small. Gotta save that for the Izzy B's and the Ryans of the world. There's a large. There's a large. There's a 2X. All right, and one more. Large. Okay. So let me get these out of here and these out of here. Those are no good for Waddington. All right, Brian. You get a couple of these T-shirts, brother. You want got the W? You got the W. You got LIX. All right, ready? Option 1. Tell me which ones you like. Option 1, got the W. Option 2, LIX. Let me make the full screen. LIX. Same one, LIX. Option 2. Option 3, Super Bowl champions. Option 3. Option 4 is again, no, so this is option 2, same one. Option, oh, this is a 2X. My ass messed that up. And then you got the gray. And then you got the gray. All right. If you don't tell me which ones, I'm going to pick for you. You got 4 options. Give me 2. 4 options. Give me 2. Look at this asshole. Look at this fucking douchebag. Look at this dickhead. Josh Smith says, Xander, you've been off your game late today. Charlie was not your savior. Remember him and move on. Josh Smith, you seem like a dude that I want nothing to do with in life. Josh Smith, I hope you never come back to JAKIB Sports. I hope you never come back to JAKIB Sports. You are a sick, twisted fuck. All right? I hope you never come back to JAKIB Sports. Fuck you. All right, 2 and 4. Was 2 this one? 2 was this one, right? I think 2 was that one. And 4 was... 4 was which one? The gray one? The 4 was the gray one. Did I get that right? Is 4 the gray one? All right, gray and the LIX. Yeah, but hat one. Which one's hat? Which one's hat? 2 was LIX. I got that one. 4 was gray. All right, got him, Waddington. I put them aside, put all the other shirts in the box. We'll give those away at another time. And lucky for us, that dork Josh will never win them. All right, so F him. All right, everybody. Good show today. We went long. Xander time is back. You can tell the season is here because Birds 365 is 3.5 hours. All right, so good stuff there. Appreciate you all for being here this morning. Congrats to our 2 winners, Brian Waddington and James Carver. Thank you, James Carver. I do have this set up now. I do want to thank all of the people who became a member on our website. Thank you, guys. It's just kind of an added bonus for me to get some of that increased, because YouTube takes a lot. So I appreciate all of you guys, man, for doing it. Brian Waddington, by the way, Zander at jakibsports.com. All right. That's my email. Brian, you can email me. You can DM me. Whatever you got, Brian. Just tell me how to contact you, and I'll do it. I'm out of Z-Notes, guys. I have to get more of the cards. I only have I think 1 or 2 left. So I got to get my beautiful fiance to make me some more of them. She's the one who got me those. So I'll see. I'll see if she can get me some more of them. Okay. Kirsten, thank you, Kirsten. Hey, Kirsten, DM me because I know that you said I owe you some shirts. I think I do remember telling you I was going to send you a shirt. So DM me, Kirsten. I'll send it out. Tony, I got your hat ready to ship, and Dio as well. Dio, thank you, man. Big Z, Big Z, Big Z, Big Z. Love it. Thank you, brother. All right. You remain the very best, Z. Brandon, thank you, brother. All right. Kirsten says, don't send mine without a Z note. I love you. I know you love my Z notes, Kirsten. All right. I know. Everybody wants a Z note. I'll get my fiance on it. She'll be making them. All right. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, dude. Rashid says, happy to be a member on both, Zander. Think about what I said about the people who work and can't afford to be here during giveaways. I already did the giveaway. You don't have to be here. Rashid, please, quit crying. But thank you for supporting me, brother. I appreciate it. All right. Rashid, my goal is to make as many people as possible happy, and I'm trying to give back to the people who support the channel. All right. It's not going to be perfect, Rashid. It's not going to be done in a way that's fair and gets everybody involved. There's no single way to do that. But I'm going to try and pour as much back into the community as they pour into me. That's my promise. If it doesn't look your way, there's no promises on anything that will look your way. Okay? I'm going to do it my way. It's a dictatorship. As I mentioned, it's my company. It's where I put all my time and money into. But I appreciate you, Rashid, for being a member on both. All right? So anybody else that becomes a member on the website, you will get those extra entries. And it does help a lot. So thank you for becoming a member over there. That's jakibsports.com for anybody that wants to become a member over there. Remember, we're doing more giveaways tomorrow as well. All right, we're doing more giveaways tomorrow as well. So thank you all for being here. Okay, appreciate it very much. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.